racing returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park on August 23rd and 24th for the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250 weekend. Secure your seats in the grandstands for the best views of all the action. Plus, we've pulled out all the stops with incredible food and live entertainment in the epic free fan zone. Race tickets are on sale now at wistatefair.com. Get ready because IndyCar is back with the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250, August 23rd and 24th.
Buy now, save now at Menards. You need reliable and energy-efficient appliances to conquer the day. Menards is your one-stop shop with the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Check out our top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and Criterion. Save big money on Whirlpool appliances at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
1 week later, and the Bucks and Lakers are back at it again.
Brooke Lopez with his third block. Giannis goes rumbling the other way, lays it in with a foul through contact.
Our matchup in L.A. begins tonight at 9. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm John Mercure. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Your top story, pleading guilty in the death of a Milwaukee man.
I'm Julia Fellow. Local ties to the college basketball tournament.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Southbound 43 got some backups from Capitol Drive all the way down towards Locust. The northbound side slowing down just north of Fond du Lac Avenue around the North Avenue curve up to about Keefe. Westbound 94 is backed up from 25th Street all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. And southbound 41 heavy from before Hampton all the way down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, clear and cool, low of 29 degrees. Tomorrow, windy, chance for afternoon showers, a high of 54 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a third suspect in the death of a man outside the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Milwaukee last year pleads guilty to amended charges of battery. Devon Johnson Carson was working at the hotel front desk when investigators say Devontae Mitchell entered the women's bathroom and was one of 4 men to pin Mitchell to the ground outside the hotel. The medical examiner determined that Mitchell died by restraint asphyxia and the toxic effects of cocaine and meth. Johnson Carson will be sentenced September 3rd. Earlier this month, both Brandon Turner and Herbert Williamson entered their own plea deals. A fourth suspect, Todd Arrington, heads to trial later this summer.
Jury deliberations this afternoon in a federal civil case against a former Wauwatosa police officer.
Joseph Mensah killed 3 persons of color in the span of 5 years on the force, all of which were deemed justified. One of those killed was Alvin Cole, a teenager shot by Mensah during a foot chase in 2020 that sparked protests in the city. Cole's parents filed the lawsuit in 2021, alleging Mensah used excessive force and that the department embraces and promotes racism. Mensah resigned from the department in 2020 and now works for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. He is facing no criminal charges in this trial. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A new bill to fund the federal government will cut millions from Wisconsin projects.
The spending bill targets projects secured by both Republicans and Democrats. And the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says in total, Wisconsin would lose more than $250 million. The cuts include a wastewater treatment plant in Prairie du Chien and National Guard readiness centers in Wausau and in Wisconsin Rapids. Eric Bilstad, WTMJ News.
President Trump gains an appeals court pick as a former Wisconsin justice retires.
Diane Sykes is chief judge of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago, which covers Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. She's moving to senior status this fall. That means she'll enter semi-retirement, continuing to serve, but hearing a reduced number of cases. Sykes was reportedly on Trump's list of Supreme Court candidates in 2016, but was not nominated. Before joining the 7th Circuit, she served as a Wisconsin Supreme Court justice, and before her law career, worked as a reporter for the Milwaukee Journal. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
President Trump is expected to sign an executive order this afternoon that would close down the Department of Education. News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
The Trump administration has already, in some ways, started to dismantle the education department already. The administration just last week eliminating half of the department, a White House official saying that this wouldn't affect Pell Grants, student loans, or other core functions, they tell me. But more than 300 people were let go from the Office of Federal Student Aid. That's a division that manages the federal student loan portfolio. And advocates worry less staff means there still could be effect.
The White House says test scores for kids have been in decline for years and that decisions over education should be returned to individual states.
Russia claims Ukraine targeted a key air base in a massive drone attack overnight. ABC News foreign correspondent Marcus Moore.
The fighting continues. It gives you a sense of how volatile the situation is, despite indications that the sides are talking on potential steps towards at least a limited ceasefire.
Meanwhile, Ukraine says that one person is dead and dozens injured from a Russian attack.
Coming up, which generation bets the most money in the college basketball tournament?
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 3:04.
Come on in and take advantage of Fleet Farm Member Appreciation Days, March 20th through the 26th. Fleet Rewards members can take an extra 10% off qualifying purchases, in-store and online. Not a member? Sign up to get your discount now. The extra 10% is our way of thanking you for being a loyal Fleet Rewards member. So stock up on everything you need during Member Appreciation Days, now through Wednesday, and enjoy even more savings at Fleet Farm. Some restrictions apply.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Are you on track to achieve your retirement plans? Hi, I'm Jeff Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We've recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative expands our ability to provide comprehensive wealth management, investment advisory, and retirement planning services. Now is the time to put your lifetime of hard work into action. For over 37 years, we've helped clients toward making their retirement dreams become a reality, and we'd like to help you too. And the best part, your plan will be completely tailored to you. Our in-house team of specialists will take the time to learn about you and your family, review your current situation, and find out what your goals are. Then we'll design a plan to help you get there. To get started, request your free meeting today with one of our fiduciary advisors by visiting creativeplanning.com. Whether you have met with us in the past or this will be your first meeting with us, we're excited to introduce Kowal Investment Group to you as Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com today.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 3:06.
March Madness is here. Did you fill out your brackets?
Almost half of all Americans fill out a bracket or two or three in hopes of pulling in some cash. According to a survey by Talker Research, on average, we're spending nearly $120 trying to guess all the W's during the NCAA tournament. But it's the millennials who are forking out the most. They spend about $205 on their brackets. Gen Zers put up about $199. The baby boomers are the most conservative with their tournament gambling, spending just under $40. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Can you hear me? Looks like the levels are back on. Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Wisconsin Badgers earn an 85-66 win over Montana in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Badgers will take the floor Saturday against BYU or VCU. Marquette begins tournament play Friday evening against New Mexico. Tournament updates are brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. And in non-tournament news, the Bucks' 5-game Western Conference road trip continues tonight against the Lakers. Coverage begins at 9 o'clock right here on WTMJ. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 3:08.
Are you over 18 years old, over 280 pounds, and interested in participating in a clinical research study? If so, you may be eligible to participate in a research study involving MRI scanning. You may qualify to participate if you are 18 years of age or older and not employed by GE Healthcare, are able to hear and understand English, are over 280 pounds, are not pregnant, do not have any tattoos or permanent makeup, have no implants with the exception of permanent orthodontic retainers and breast implants. Pierre O'Godden is a principal investigator for the study being held at 3200 North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Study scans are investigational, and the use of these devices has not been cleared by the FDA. The study is not being performed for diagnostic purposes. It is not intended to replace your medical care. Your appointment will last up to 4 hours, and for your time and travel to GE Healthcare in Waukesha, you will be offered a gift card valued at $80 per appointment at GE Healthcare's MRI facility. To learn more, please call GE Healthcare at 262-312-7855. Again, that's 262-312-7855.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
3:09 on WTMJ. All right, we got all of the mix-up done with
Hello,
John's microphone.
Is this working?
Do you know what I did?
Is this working?
I pressed on.
No, so did I, but it didn't work. You have the magic touch. It's the woman's touch. I went all the way around the desk. I said, I think I'm going to have to go over there. My microphone's not working. You came over and calmly pressed the on button, and then it worked.
I just pressed it once.
What's up with that? Okay, we're fixed. We're set. Basketball's on the TVs in here. News is on the TVs in here. We got traffic and weather. We are all ready to rock. All right, what are we doing today?
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Number 1, kudos to WISN Television. They helped a grieving family that just had a murdered 33-year-old in their family, Bernicia Butcher, get some closure, at least for now. They said that they could not believe their eyes this week when a fake GoFundMe page was made in her memory and it was not real, and that page raised more than $13,000. Family says they have nothing to do with this page. WISN helped them get the fake GoFundMe page down. The family does have a real fundraiser to help Butcher's kids after losing their mother. So far, the real page have raised more than $3,000.
That's great. That's good stuff in a tragic situation. All right, who out there knows who this is?
Not a day goes by.
It's a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
I know.
That is Bernadette Peters. Bernadette Peters, so she's the Broadway star, of course. She's actually won a couple of Tony Awards for Annie Get Your Gun and Song and Dance, lots of TV and movie credits. Guess what? We're talking about her because she's coming to the grand opening concert for the rebuilt Milwaukee Repertory Theater in October. She will perform in the new theater, the redesigned main stage. Tickets go on sale to the public beginning May 5th. She's got a lovely voice.
Deb, how do you know her?
Bernadette Peters is like an icon in Broadway theater. An absolute icon. She's Sondheim all the way. She's very, very talented.
Are you going to go? Maybe you should go see her when she comes to Milwaukee. That'll be cool.
I would absolutely love to. That would be so cool.
By the way, Deb, I heard you last night on What's on Tap. You and Sandy had a great conversation talking about the Broadway season unveiled. You know your stuff, girl. It was good. That was fun.
Thank you. I'm really excited to see all the shows.
That was fun. All right, let me turn Bernadette down. There we go. Okay, bye-bye.
Keep it going. Number 3, something new you'll find at Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport, a new children's play area, the Kids Zone. It's with the help of Make-A-Wish Foundation, new play equipment, all the carpets new lighting. It's more inviting. Make-A-Wish Wisconsin took part because about 75% of wishes granted involve air travel, and they have to take their kids there. And they hope every child will have fun in the new Kids Zone between Concourse C and Concourse D. Isn't that nice? If you text WATCH to 855-616-1620, WATCH to our Sighting Unlimited talk and text line, you can see it. Painted walls, you can see little tiny airplanes in the sky, and it looks like there's a runway carpet. Isn't that cute?
It's very cool. That's wonderful. That is really great news for our airport. Good stuff. 312 at WTMJ. It's the vernal equinox. What does that mean? Deb knows. That's up next.
While the king is on the sideline watching all alone.
It's our ball, ain't it? It's our ball! Hey! It's our ball!
Watch how the next man up is coming for his throne.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Giannis the other way. Goes hard at Siakam and then plunges it down with a monstrous one-hand jam.
The Bucks head to L.A. to take on the Lakers. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 9. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Julia Fellow here. I'm so excited to share how I've saved literally thousands of dollars thanks to Just Between Friends Milwaukee County. You can buy gently used infant through teen clothing and all the kids' gear you could think of. Everything starts at half off. Parents, grandparents, this is the best way to beat inflation. Never pay full price again. Head to milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com for tickets to get in. Everything is safety checked. It just happens twice a year. Join us for the spring sale, exactly 1 month out from today. First look with a pre-sale April 10th, then it runs through Friday, April 11th through Sunday, April 13th. At the Wisconsin State Fair Parks Expo Center, head to milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com to learn more. That's milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
This March, Heiser Automotive Group is putting the pedal to the metal with our Accelerate Your Refund sales and service event. Tax season is the best time to upgrade your ride or take care of your current vehicle. And we're making it easier than ever to turn your tax refund into turbocharged buying power. Accelerate into a newer used vehicle or get essential repairs and maintenance done. Plus, with Heiser's exclusive Safe and Sound program, you can buy and service with confidence, convenience, and peace of mind. Visit Heiser.com today.
See dealer for complete details.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
Traffic and weather, Debbie Lazaga, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, we have southbound on 43 right into the Marquette interchange, a broken down vehicle on the left shoulder. Squad is with it, but it's kind of in a weird spot. You want to be careful. It's going to be slow from Keefe all the way down to that point, all the way through the Marquette, as a matter of fact. Northbound 43, we are seeing delays basically from just before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. Westbound 94, heavy from 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. And then on southbound 41, that's slowing down before Hampton, taking you all the way past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, clear and cold, a low of 29 degrees. Tomorrow, chance for afternoon storms, and it's going to be windy tomorrow, high of 54. Then it gets cool. Saturday, sunny with a high of 40. Sunday, rain-snow mix, a high of 46. And on Monday, rain-snow mix, a high of 42 degrees. Right now, clear skies and 39. Hey, astronomy fans, it's time for another celestial event, and it won't take getting into your car and driving hours upon hours to get out and see. No, this is an easy one. Debbie Lazaga has more. It's an overview of this magical time of year.
Riddle me this. What happens twice a year? Some say you can balance an egg only on this day, and was a big deal back in ancient history. Give up? It's the equinox, and today we're celebrating the vernal equinox, and it's the official kickoff to spring in the northern hemisphere. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Equal what now? Don't worry, we'll walk you through it. By we, I mean I called in a little help. UWM Manfred Olson Planetarium Director Dr. Gene Crichton. So what exactly is the equinox?
The official definition would be where the celestial equator meets the ecliptic.
It
is the two times of the year and two places, if you will, in space, where the path of the sun intersects with our equator that's projected onto the sky.
Oh, much better. I get that. So it's all about the Earth's orbit around the sun. Since the Earth is tilted about 23.5 degrees, right now we're neither tilted away nor towards the sun. We're kind of at a balance.
If the Earth was standing upright, then the path of the sun and that projection onto the sky would be exactly the same. But because we're tilted, they meet those two lines only twice a year.
The word equinox actually comes from the Latin words equa, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night.
Everybody on the planet has 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. Generally speaking, every other day of the year, you either have more night or more day. And that's true everywhere.
So then why does spring start off on different days each year?
There's an exact moment when, the sun is floating around along the ecliptic, the path of the sun, and it bumps into the celestial equator at a particular time. And that's why sometimes it's the 21st of March, but it could be the 20th, it could be the 22nd, right? So there's a little bit of give on exactly when that happens.
Ancient cultures like Egypt and the Mayans knew this day was special. They built incredible monuments like Chichen Itza in Mexico, where during the equinox, a shadow falls on the pyramid, creating the illusion of a feathered serpent of Kukulkan descending the steps. It also marked the time when people would start planting crops, pretty important for those ancient civilizations if you think about it. Even modern science continues to study the equinox, using it as a reference point for understanding the Earth's orbit and climate patterns. So there you have it, folks, the vernal equinox, a day of balance, renewal, and the official start of spring. Oh, and that whole balancing an egg thing only on the equinoxes? Not a thing. There's no correlation to the Earth's gravitational pull changing on any spot in its orbit around the sun. Sorry, but hey, we're getting more daylight every day, and soon it'll be summer. So there's that. Hooray! Debbie Loziga, WTMJ News.
Interesting stuff. It is 3:19 at WTMJ.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticketfinder.
Elevate your daily routine with a Luxstone shower from Kohler Services. Hi, all. Debbie Loziga here, and Kohler's premium crushed stone showers are amazing, beautiful, and durable. I was able to get my hands on some of the Luxstone crushed stone material, and I can attest to the exceptional quality. They're gorgeous, and their team is super knowledgeable and professional. Think of it. You can enjoy the luxury of a new shower without breaking the bank. And this month only, get $1,000 off and no payment financing until 2026 on your Luxstone shower remodel. Schedule your design consultation. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
$1 for just $1 over cost. You can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. Available at all 5 Griffin stores. Just $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. I get a lot of questions about QC Kinetics treatments, people asking if they should consider it for their own joint pain. Well, here's how you know. If you answer yes to any of these questions. Is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees or hips or shoulders or other joints, trouble sleeping or walking? Do you want to avoid surgery, a long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answered yes to any of these questions, don't wait. call now. Call QC Kinetics and ask for your free consultation and learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can help you get lasting relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
I want to remind you really quick, you can check out all the content on the show on the Wisconsin Afternoon News podcast page. It's sponsored by Dave Drakamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDrakamp.com.
At 323, workplaces are dealing with something I hadn't heard before until just today. The great bore out. Where Gen Zers specifically are being called out. They're quitting because they're underwhelmed. Then we have some new employees who feel burnt out too quickly and are quitting. And another trend, Gen Zers coming back, revenge quitting.
Ooh.
It is all costing businesses a lot of money. So we'll start with the great bore out, which many are calling the new burnout. I don't know how. I guess you're getting so burnt out because you're bored. Wharton organizational psychologists, they've been studying this very closely and find the term bore out has grown over the years, especially since the shift to remote work. Being alone has a lot of feeling of underwhelm. Mindset expert and business owner Scott Allen Curley spoke to me today. He shares why this is probably happening more for Gen Z workers.
There are so many distractions these days with social media, gadgets, you name it. Many people, especially our younger people, are just looking for the next high, quote unquote. It makes it a little bit challenging, us owners, to keep the Gen Zers focused and excited about their task at hand.
What about the rest of us? Millennials, Gen X, boomers, you are not off the hook with being underwhelmed while working from home. And we all know that we like this hybrid work, but listen to this.
In theory, that would be wonderful because obviously as the owners, that's one of the major costs that we could cut if people could work from a virtual space and be just as effective. But the concern is being productive. And there are so many distractions. And it takes a very special type of person to be able to do it effectively where it works for the employee and works for the company. And that is a struggle, especially, again, not to pick on the younger people, but the Gen Zs do have kind of more of a struggle with that.
Swinging from one extreme to another, burnout. He says it's important to tell your employer, communicate, let them know if something's not working out. They might want to work for you. And what if you don't want to end up at that place? What if the place you go to, the grass isn't always green on the other side? What about this one? Pretending to be busy at work.
Oh, I don't have time to pretend.
No kidding. All of our product is on air.
That's a thing, though, huh?
Can you believe
Pretending
that?
to be busy.
Some people are really good at it, but it doesn't get past Scott Allen Curley. He says the person who does this should take ownership. People pretending to be busy are usually the managers that should be in charge of those people.
There's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. I don't really care about someone being busy. You can shuffle papers all day and be considered busy. What's important to me is whether or not my folks are productive. And that comes down to us defining the meaning of work.
Okay, so the managers should be watching out for this, he says. Now there's something Gen Z is doing with being bored out of their minds, burnt out or wronged. Revenge quitting. Here's what Scott Allen Curley thinks about this.
That's hurting the community and the society as a whole. There's so much now that is being done for us through automation that when you ask someone to actually do some work, the audacity of us to expect you to do work. And I say that a little tongue in cheek, but that's a challenge that we as owners and CEOs now are facing. And if there's someone who takes that approach, then they're probably shooting themselves in the foot, because that will get around.
It will get around if you revenge quit. So if a new employee you just hired quits for whatever reason, you know what that costs the company on average? Anywhere from $4,000 to more than $20,000. He talked about how that's happened to him. You think about the why, the onboarding, paying the employee, paying others to teach the employee, the 401k match, getting them signed up for insurance. That all costs money. And he says This is what new employees might want to think about and have their mindset at before making any rash decision.
The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I would encourage any employee, if they're feeling tempted to job hop, I would encourage, before you do that, have some conversations with the leadership team. Let them know how you feel. Tell them what your challenges are. Let them know what you need from them in order for them to make it a better workplace and a better work environment. In other words, give the company a chance to help you.
There you go. Go to scottallencurley.com to learn more about him.
Interesting stuff. A lot to digest there. It's 3:27 at WTMJ. Time for the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red, but really kind of a quiet day. The NASDAQ off 59 points. The Dow was off 11. The S&P was down 12 points on the day. Annex Wealth Management, financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
According to the Census Bureau, more than 12,000 Americans are turning 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. 65 is traditional retirement age because it matches up with Medicare, but Gallup found 61 is the average retirement age. Some Annex clients retire early, but we also have clients working at 70 because they love what they do. You know why? Because they've got plans built by fee-only fiduciaries, plans custom-tailored to their lifestyle. They identify their wants and needs, and we went to work building investment, retirement, tax, and estate plans in their best interest. Proper retirement planning doesn't start the week before you retire. Having a focused plan built by our in-house teams will go a long way in helping you reach the retirement you desire. It all starts with the conversation you probably already have in the back of your mind. It's time to put that into action and contact Annex. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Pain can make you feel like no matter what you try, it's not going to work. Or it can make you try any and everything. And most times that'll make you feel like you've been taken for a ride. It's hard to believe that there's a solution to your pain problem that works, is safe, and is actually affordable. But that's why most insurance plans pay for pain treatments from Rejuvenex, because they're FDA approved and they do work. Toradol and hyaluronic acid work together to substantially alleviate your pain. And we've seen patients experience pain relief for greater than 2 years after completing a series of treatments. Is it a one and done? No. But at as low as $65 per joint? It's an affordable alternative to surgery. And it's not an expensive cross your fingers and hope it works experiment. Especially for older pain sufferers, the pain treatment that Rejuvenex offers is worth trying, because the vast majority of patients who do live better lives in a lot less pain. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Traffic is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield makes vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 3:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: a verdict expected against a former Wauwatosa police officer.
I'm Julia Fellow, one step closer to dismantling the Department of Education.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Westbound 94. Watch for delays out of the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, just a little bit heavy, basically between 76th Street and Hawley Road. Northbound 43, backing up from before Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keith. The southbound side's a little heavy just south of Capitol down to about Burleigh. And then again from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Southbound 41, a hefty ride from before Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Cool tonight, a low of 29. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, windy, and a chance of evening showers, a high of 54 degrees. Right now, it's 39 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a third suspect in the death of a man outside the Hyatt Regency in downtown Milwaukee last year, pleading guilty to amended charges of battery. Devin Johnson Carson was working at the hotel front desk when investigators say Devontae Mitchell entered the women's bathroom and was one of 4 men, Devin Johnson was, to pin Mitchell to the ground outside the hotel. The medical examiner determined Mitchell died by restraint asphyxia and the toxic effects of cocaine and meth. Johnson Carson will be sentenced September 3rd.
Jury deliberating at this hour in a federal civil case against a former Wauwatosa police officer. The parents of Alvin Cole, a teen who was killed by Joseph Mensah during a foot chase in 2020, filed a civil rights lawsuit. in 2021, alleging that Mensa used excessive force, and the department worked for embraces and promotes racism. The jury will decide whether Mensa's use of force was unreasonable and whether he's liable for the loss of society and companionship of Cole to his parents. Mensa killed 3 persons of color in the span of 5 years while on the force, all of which were deemed unjustified. Mensa resigned from the department in 2020.
Happening right now, President Trump in the White House. The 50 state flags are behind him. School children seated at little makeshift desks in front of him. Any moment, he will sign a new executive order that will effectively begin dismantling the Department of Education. The president speaking right now. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes on what the Department of Education does.
Title I funding that goes to low-income areas to help boost their education budgets. That's about $18 billion a year. Then another tranche of funding that goes all across the country to help schools educate children with disabilities. That's another $15 billion or so per year. And then really the biggest thing that dwarfs everything else is that the Department of Education manages student loans.
The Trump administration says shutting down the department would save the government money.
A federal judge has blocked Elon Musk's Doge team from accessing personal information from the Social Security Administration.
The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has been going into federal agencies, accessing information and purging federal employees. President Trump has long said he would not touch Social Security or Medicare, but Elon Musk's recent comments about Social Security have raised concerns about possible damage to the social safety net. The judge's order blocking DOGE's access to the agency's personal information gives Social Security recipients and employees a sigh of relief, even if it's just temporary. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Hey, it's getting to be that time of year when many are headed out of town for spring break. Dr. Ben Weston from the Medical College of Wisconsin reminds travelers to plan for unexpected health issues.
You want to make sure you're up to date on your routine vaccinations. Usually we say that for international travel, but here in the United States, we're seeing these outbreaks of measles in particular, Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma.
Weston recommends picking and packing a travel kit with some essentials like hand sanitizer and pain relievers.
Milwaukee's Mitchell International Airport unveils newly remodeled children's play areas in time for spring break. Make-A-Wish Wisconsin's Senior Communications Director.
Children have different needs and accessibility needs. They need that space where they can play and get energy out. They're about to go and sit on a plane for an hour or 2 or 4 or longer. And also to have it accessible for all children is so important. Obviously, Make-A-Wish serves children with critical illnesses, so we have a lot of kids who have different disabilities.
The play areas are now open in Concourse C and D.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The Bucks looking for a win in their Western road trip. Tonight they face the Lakers. Our coverage starts at 9 o'clock here on WTMJ. And brackets start to get busted today. It's the college men's basketball tournament. The Badgers beat Montana 85-66 this afternoon. They're back on Saturday against either BYU or VCU. Marquette takes the floor Friday at 6:25 against New Mexico in Cleveland. Tournament updates are brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 3:35.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Celebrity or Holland America, or design your own bucket list adventure with Globus. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
A Wisconsin bill is out there that would allow backyard chickens in every municipality. West Allis, get off your big podium. Brookfield, get out of here. This would allow everyone to have chickens, up to 4 chickens. And we brought in our chicken expert. Jackie Johnson is the marketing manager for Good Karma Brands. She keeps our train on the tracks, and she's with us in the studio. She's also a chicken owner. Jackie, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys.
How many chickens do you have?
We have about 7.
Does that rotate from year to year? Like, does one die, or do you get rid of one and you get more? Like, how does that all work?
They usually die through predators because all of our chickens are free range. So yes, when we do end up having a less chickens than we like, we do buy more. I think we do plan on buying more this summer and raising them, so we could have up to, I don't know, another additional 4 to our flock. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of eggs.
It's a lot of eggs.
Where do they go at night? Are they protected at night?
Yep, we have a coop for them, so they know where the food and the water is, and so by the sun goes down, they just naturally go into their coop. I check on them. They're all there. Close the door, lock it up, go back inside.
So can the predators get in the coop? Are they sneaky? When do the predators pick them off? How does that work?
In the middle of the day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
No.
That's not cool at all.
Yeah. The amount of times we've come home and a poor bird is just sitting in our yard. We're like, oh no, not Dijon.
I would flip. Oh my gosh. I'd want revenge.
Do you ever eat the chickens?
Not yet, no.
Will you maybe?
Yet?
Potentially.
Whoa.
So do they outgrow like their egg-laying years, and then do they become potential food source? How?
I do believe that as the hens get older, and I'm sorry for the fans that actually know this, as the hens get older, their egg production decreases.
Yeah.
And after a certain period of time, they just stop laying eggs, period. So
then they can become dinner.
It's a circle of life, okay?
It is. It's a circle of life. Totally. Yeah. Do you have roosters?
We do have one rooster.
Really? Is it noisy? Tell us about the rooster.
His name is Eddie. We thought he was an Esther. But he turned out to be an Eddie. He's an Easter egg chicken. And yes, he cockle-doodle-doos throughout the entire day.
Is it cute or annoying?
In the middle, it's a little bit annoying every now and then, but the way we live, like our property is pretty large. We're next to the highway, so we don't hear it half the time. But yes, he can get pretty loud.
I thought roosters only did their thing in the morning when the sun comes up.
All day.
Will he do it literally when it's nighttime?
Yes, if he feels threatened, if he hears something outside in the coop, even though he's protected,
he's telling everyone.
Exactly.
Watch out.
So he's the boy. Does he try to protect the girls, or is he more scared than they are?
Oh, he tries to protect them.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He's so chivalrous.
Yeah, we had a previous rooster too. His name was Sparky, and he was a bully to us, but he protected all of the hens.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They can be pretty nasty creatures.
Okay, so what do you think about this, what we've just started talking about, the bill that would allow backyard chickens in every municipalities? Municipalities could put rules in place, but it would not allow places to say no chickens in our town. What do you think of this?
I don't see why you couldn't have chickens everywhere. I think that they're a pet, like having a dog or a cat, quite honestly. And I know a lot of people in my area, especially people who work here at GKB, who have chickens and treat them like part of their family. So why would you restrict someone from having a pet?
And
wait, I didn't know this. Is there like a whole group upstairs that has chickens?
There's at least
a bunch of you?
There's at least 2 of us, yeah.
There are?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I did not.
I thought you were the chicken whisperer. I didn't know that.
Well, Arnie might get chickens too.
He's got every other animal.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Are they expensive to buy?
They're about $4 a pullet, I believe. $2 a pullet. I think it depends on the breed that you get.
Wait, it only costs $2 or $4 to buy a chicken?
Yeah, you have to. If you buy them through Tractor Supply, you have to buy at least 4 of them.
Okay.
You just can't buy a singular bird. But yeah, you can probably get 4 birds for less than $30.
Oh my God, that's like what a dozen eggs cost. You can
I
buy
know.
actual chickens.
It's cheaper to buy an actual live chicken.
Yeah.
John, would you want to hear this next to you though? Do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear it. I don't know. I don't want to say anything because Jackie's in here and she's my friend, but I do not want chickens next to me. But I live in an environment, in a neighborhood, like where I'm. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's.
Do they smell? Are they dirty?
In the coop, yes. I think mine is a little different because ours are free ranged and they have a 3-acre property to travel.
Okay.
So it's spread throughout the space. But for those that are like in coops themselves, it does collect if you don't clean it regularly.
How do you clean it?
With a pitchfork.
Do you scoop it out?
Hose it down.
Again, for us, we use it as a compost. So in the winter, you're told not to clean the coop because it helps keep the coop warm. And you just keep putting more straw and hay on top of it. And so when spring comes along, we have a garden. We scoop all that out. We till it into the soil, and then we use it as compost.
How important are the chickens? Would you ever move somewhere where you couldn't have chickens? Are they that big a deal?
To me, no. But when we bought our house, my fiance, Jacob, he wanted them, and that's the one thing that he really wanted. So he looked at houses where you could have chickens.
So would you support this bill for all municipalities to be able to have up to 4 chickens?
I think so. I think they're great to have. I mean, they're a nice addition to the family. I say hi, hey Lavender, what's up, girl? How you doing? As I walk outside and feed them every morning, and the eggs are great, and I can share the eggs with my teammates here as well. And
yeah, that'd be a great idea, Jackie, if you shared your eggs with your teammates on the afternoon show on WTMJ.
How do you feel about duck eggs?
Raising my hand. I've never had a duck egg. Tell me, how's it different?
Not that different. The yolk is a lot larger. But
I would try that for sure. You have ducks too?
We have a singular duck. Yeah.
I thought it'd be smaller eggs.
Oh. It's the density is the same, like it's basically the same?
To me, it's basically the same.
Ooh.
I'm sure there is a biological difference.
I would try that. By the way, Jacob wanted the chickens. He should be cleaning out the pen.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, that's his job.
I agree.
His job for sure. All right, Jackie Johnson, fascinating, good stuff. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
It is 3:43 at WTMJ. The JFK files have been released. Brad Garrett, former FBI agent, is going through the files. He'll be with us up next.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
Dr. Kimo Ayun, president of Marquette University. When you got that call, walk me through that and how it all happened.
So, Mike Lovell, when I met with him and I understood his vision, I walked out of that meeting, my very last meeting in the interview process, and called my wife and said, this suddenly got very real.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Landworks, Wisconsin, the best in the business. Someone just asked me today, within the hour, as a matter of fact, about Landworks, Wisconsin. It was easy for me to tell them what makes them special. You get one person on your team from beginning to end. They shepherd the whole project. This time of year, they're planning. They can take your yard. This person has a relatively small project. They want some new plants. They want a retaining wall. Landworks Wisconsin does all that, and they're a local team. They take your guesswork out of all that green space and landscape work. Personalized landscaping plans carefully designed to make your property shine. I know. They've made our property shine big time. It's Landworks. LandworksWisconsin.com.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We're with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get 0% interest for up to 72 months. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Traffic sponsored by the all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga, how are the roads?
All right. Well, we got northbound 43 still kind of backed up for 4 Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Keefe. They were able to clear that disabled vehicle on the southbound side heading into the Marquette. Still, though, we're seeing delays from North Avenue down through the Marquette and onto the high-rise bridge. Westbound 94, we got some backups from 25th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's just got a couple of little pockets here and there between 68th Street and 35th. And then on the bypass, couple pockets as well. One just south of Lincoln on southbound 894, and then another one just south of Beloit Road. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Cool tonight, a low of 29. Tomorrow, windy. A chance of evening showers are possible, a high of 54. Sunny Saturday, a high of 40. Sunday, a chance of a rain-snow wintry mix, a high of 46. Monday, there's still an early wintry mix, and then it's going to be mostly cloudy, a high of 42. Right now, it's sunny in Milwaukee at 39 degrees.
We've been talking about how 80,000 pages have been released connected to the JFK assassination. And you know who's been looking through those 80,000 pages is Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst, former FBI agent. Brad, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's just start right here. All these have been released. Are we any closer to knowing definitively who killed President Kennedy in Dallas in 1963?
Other than Lee Harvey Oswald, the answer is no. I don't think, obviously, I haven't read 80,000 pages, but the experts on this assassination kind of consistently have said that they don't see any smoking guns. I don't see any smoking guns. I would say, John, there is clarity of some aspects of this investigation. For example, and this, what I'm about to say, has been known for several years, but the CIA were tracking Lee Harvey Oswald. He got out of the Marine Corps in 1959, had a rough time there, was court-martialed twice, was in jail, and he immediately moves to Russia after he gets off active duty. Now, you would ask yourself, why would you track him if you did that? Well, think in context of when that happened. Into the 50s, early 60s, the Cold War is going on, a lot of issues with Russia, and I don't think Americans were picking up every day and moving to Russia. So that might be why they were tracking him. But they apparently were surveilling him at times and monitoring his communications, activities, where he worked, all of that, from 59 through the assassination. And then, obviously, Lee Harvey Oswald only lived 2 more days and was killed by Jack Ruby on the 24th of November. So what's intriguing about the CIA part of this is that they have pretty much kept that under wraps. That I don't think back in the day that anybody knew about that but the CIA. There's no mention of it in the Warren Report. The Warren Report, concluded that, Oswald acted alone. And even if he did know, does it really have anything to do with the assassination? It may not. It certainly could potentially be embarrassing to, I suppose, the CIA if, in fact, they were keeping track of him. But it certainly won't help the conspiracy theory folks. So, there's some other aspects we can talk to, but that's one that jumps out.
Why is it still a mystery as to why the CIA's counterintelligence chief was so interested in Oswald?
It's a good question. And it seems like to me, if the straightforward answer is that they were concerned about him becoming, going to Russia, becoming a communist, and then helping the Russians since he obviously just left the military. I'm just guessing. Maybe there was something else, but it's something that should have been brought out at some point. And what you just asked me is still not out there. If you look at the documents that have been released, it certainly touches on what I just talked about. It touches on James Angleton. That's who you're referring to as the CIA counterintelligence chief. But it doesn't really help us as to the question you just asked. It's another one of those dangling aspects of this case, just like a few weeks before the assassination, Oswald went to Mexico City, which I think the CIA monitored. and he went to the Russian embassy. He went to the Cuban consulate, and the question is, what in the world was he doing? What is that all about? Now, the conspiracy theorists also probably want to make something of that. I don't know if it means anything or not in reference to the assassination, but it's certainly suspicious, if nothing else.
So he went to Russia and Cuban consulates or in Mexico City. How long before the actual assassination?
Just weeks.
Then that seems to be pretty linked.
Well, you would think, but he's married to a Russian. He had 2 kids. She came back with him. The other, I suppose, odd thing is that he moved to Dallas. Obviously that's where the assassination occurred. So no one has talked about, was that planned? Did he move there intentionally? Who knows? But there's all of these sort of aspects of this case that, from my vantage point, aren't any further down the road. In other words, the conspiracy theorists can still run with a lot of this. But the bottom line for me is I still don't see anything beyond Lee Harvey Oswald. And if I profile him, he certainly fits the profile of somebody who had done this. He's a troubled guy, gotten arguments and fights, couldn't work, didn't have friends, and really wanted to seek attention. And, that's really where most mass shooters come from. They want to be famous. They want fame. And of course, he certainly got it.
Hey, Brad, I want to clarify what you just said, because you're an expert, former FBI agent. You've looked at this sort of thing over and over and over successfully through your career. Do you believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone?
I think so. I mean, I'm a person that you can convince me of anything if you have the evidence to support it. I just don't see anything else. Can we belabor the CIA connection or interest in him? We can't. Could the KGB have something to do with it, with that going into the Russian embassy? I think the KGB, I assume, tracked him when he was in Russia for the better part of 3 years.
Does it unravel the motive?
We don't know the motive. All I can tell you is that Oswald was a guy who tried to latch onto things and then rejected them a short time later, like communism. In the few interviews that they had with him before he was killed, he denied that he committed the shooting. Now, it's pretty clear he bought 2 weapons using an alias. The alias was on a selective service card that was on his person when he was arrested. The long gun that he shot the president with was purchased with that alias, and so was the handgun that you might recall. He also killed a Dallas police officer. And it's pretty clear that it's just him in the shooting. Could you argue, I suppose, that somebody sent him to do that? Maybe. But there's no evidence to support that.
So all the cited grassy knoll conspiracy therapists who think there was another person there, you don't find any evidence of that?
No. And John, there has been an argument, you might recall, that due to the way, I don't want to get too graphic here, the president was originally shot in the neck, the second shot was in the head, that the way his body moved, there's an argument by some people that it had to be a second shooter. They've had ballistics people look at this, and I think they sort of discount that theory. They believe it's still one shooter, one weapon. So, people will argue that they don't agree with me on that, and that's fine. But the facts take you right to Oswald, in my view.
Hey, one more quick question. We've only got a few seconds. The thing that bothered me in the report was people's Social Security numbers were released. They were redacted.
Are they
People
dead?
who are still alive.
Oh, they're still alive. Okay.
Is that just careless?
Well, here's the problem with that. And I have total empathy for the Department of Justice. Trump gave them no time to go through 80,000 pages. I mean, like hours to go through 80,000 pages. And you know that none of that's computerized, right? It's all like messages and memos And, back then they would send wires.
Microfiche. Yeah.
All that stuff. I mean, they should have had weeks. So because of that rush, you had this issue that you just mentioned about Social Security. And that was, I think, people that were on the church committee, which investigated the CIA for misdoings in the 60s and the 70s. That got released, too, for some reason.
Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst in Washington. Great conversation, Brad. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care, John.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Debbie Loziga here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now's the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get $1,000 off your Luckstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote, with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, the Lenten season is here. Experience the fabulous Friday Fish Fry at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. John Mercure here to tell you about it. I love the Fox and Hounds Fish Fry. It's all you can eat. It truly is one of the best. I'm kind of picky when it comes to fish fries, and theirs is great. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. Tonight, on Friday night, on Saturday night, it's buy one, get one free. And they've got other great seafood options. The pan-fried walleye, salmon, scallops, pasta, even the steak and lobster. Your second dinner is free. Desserts and huge old ice cream drinks are buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned. They've got 20 bourbons to choose from, 100 wines, the 8 unique dining rooms. Right now, the fireplaces are still going. It's nice and cozy. The Fox and Hounds in the Kettle Moraine Forest. Spectacular scenery, a Wisconsin must-see, and your second dinner is free. Saturday, your second prime rib dinner is even free. So try the Friday Lenten Fish Fry. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill. Call and reserve. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
As clutch of a player to ever play basketball.
It's game time on Season 4 of Behind the Bucks on Bucks Plus.
This year, I was like, I need to impose myself more on this team.
Explore Damian Lillard's journey to becoming a top 75 player in NBA history.
That's what really had me feeling like this is going to be great.
Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and H&R benefits consultant. Find Bucks Plus on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
This report sponsored by Exterior Pros and Baths. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation. Ready to tackle your home improvement project this spring? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. Visit extpros.com today.
1 week later, and the Bucks and Lakers are back at it again.
Brooke Lopez with his third block. Giannis goes rumbling the other way, lays it in with a foul through contact.
Our matchup in LA begins tonight at 9. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 4 o'clock. I'm John Mercure. Your top story, putting pen to paper to dismantle the Department of Education.
I'm Julia Fellow, cutting millions of dollars from Wisconsin projects.
I'm Debbie Loziga. We do have some delays northbound on 43 coming out of the Marquette all the way up to Keefe. Southbound is backing up just before North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette. Westbound 94, 20th Street's where you're going to see those delays all the way to about Hawley Road. The eastbound side's got some backups as well from 76th Street to Holly Road and then again through the Stadium interchange. And then on 41 southbound, Appleton Avenue all the way down past Hampton, almost to Capitol Drive is where you're seeing those delays. On the northbound side, we've got backups from Mayfair Road to Burline. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, clear and cool, low 29 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy, windy, maybe afternoon showers, a high of 54. It's currently 39. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, President Trump just signing an executive order directing Secretary Linda McMahon to take all steps allowed by law to dismantle the Education Department. The president also detailed what won't be cut at the federal agency, like grants and programs for special education.
And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right. And I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them. But everybody knows it's right.
President Trump does still need congressional approval to cut the federal agency.
A third suspect in the death of a man outside the Hyatt Regency in Milwaukee last year pleads guilty to amended charges of battery. Devin Johnson Carson was working at the hotel front desk. Investigators say Devontae Mitchell entered the women's bathroom and was one of 4 men to pin Mitchell to the ground outside the hotel. The medical examiner says he died from being choked to death, and he also had cocaine and meth in his system. Johnson Carson will be sentenced September 3rd.
A jury could have a verdict this afternoon in a federal civil case against a former Wauwatosa police officer and the city's insurance provider.
Joseph Mensah killed 3 persons of color in the span of 5 years on the force, all of which were deemed justified. One of those killed was Alvin Cole, a teenager shot by Mensah during a foot chase in 2020 that sparked protests in the city. Cole's parents filed the lawsuit in 2021, alleging Mensah used excessive force and that the department embraces and promotes racism. Mensah resigned from the department in 2020 and now works for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. He is facing no criminal charges in this trial. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A new bill to fund the federal government will cut millions from Wisconsin projects.
The spending bill targets projects secured by both Republicans and Democrats. And the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says in total, Wisconsin would lose more than $250 million. The cuts include a wastewater treatment plant in Prairie du Chien and National Guard readiness centers in Wausau and in Wisconsin Rapids. Eric Bilstad, WTMJ News.
In Milwaukee, a lack of answers regarding illegally dumped tires could lead to the city's Public Works Committee freezing normal operations.
The committee's meeting Thursday included visible anger from Alderwoman Andrea Pratt, who says Department of Public Works Operations leader Danielle Rodriguez told her not to email them regarding an illegal tire pile on 26th Street.
I don't know if I need to walk over to her and hand it to her.
That led to this remark from Chair Bob Bauman.
If at the next Public Works meeting we're unable to have the commissioner or the director of operations present for this file, we will start holding all other public works matters that come before this committee.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Coming up, a pop star keeps passengers entertained on board a lucky flight.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:04.
This report is brought to you by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
They did it again. Best of the best in the whole USA. Wisconsin's very own Siding Unlimited. Local and family-owned Siding Unlimited has won their 5th National Pella Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year award. Siding Unlimited has been installing Pella windows and doors for over 30 years and doing it the right way. Top-notch installation by their very own amazing craftsmen. Homeowners rave about their beautiful windows, easy to open and energy-efficient Pellas with an unmatched warranty, and about the excellence of Siding Unlimited's installation experience. Peace of mind, durability, function, daily job cleanup. You need great new windows installed the right way. You need Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. Or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help, and the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 4:06.
A big pop star brought some sexy black back on a flight.
Justin Timberlake was heading to South America for the next leg of his world tour when he took over flight attendant duties.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the JT Live 25 South American leg.
He went on to read the safety instructions.
A life jacket is located in a pouch at the side of your seat. To inflate the life jacket, pull firmly on the red toggles
as the flight attendants demonstrated. Another video posted on TikTok showed the singer playing golf down the aisle of the plane and high-fiving some passengers. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Badgers earn an 85-66 win over Montana in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Badgers will next take the floor on Saturday. Marquette begins tournament play Friday evening against New Mexico. Tournament updates are brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. And in non-tournament news, the Bucks' 5-game Western Conference road trip continues tonight against the Lakers. Coverage begins at 9 o'clock on WTMJ.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:08.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
All right, we hope you're having a happy Thursday or Friday Eve. It is. Hey, the report is out. The happiest places in the world. For the 8th year in a row, the same country is listed the happiest in the world. Do you know what it is?
I need to go visit it. Yes, I do.
Finland, right? Finland, the number 1 spot on the World Happiness Report, happiest countries. So they rank this on things like they do a lot of surveying and they compile a lot of data. The data is how long people live, per capita income, and then they survey on freedom, how they feel about their country, how they feel about how things are going in their country, whether they think the country is corrupt. Finland is number 1. You want to hear the other ones that are on the list before we get to the United States, which,
Absolutely.
by the way, is not in a great spot on the list.
Oh.
Here they are, the top 10 happiest countries in the world. From 10, number 10 is Mexico. Surprised me.
Good weather.
True. Number 9 is Luxembourg. Isn't that where Garrett Barrett was?
Yeah, not
Right?
Major
Yeah.
Garrett.
Not Major Garrett, Tom Barrett.
Mayor Barrett.
Did I say Garrett?
Wait,
Tom
I don't know.
Barrett, excuse me. Was it Luxembourg? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8 is Israel. That one surprises me because they have a lot of strife.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of
There's
stuff
a
going
war
on.
going on.
Then it's Norway, Costa Rica. Number 5 is the Netherlands. The 4th happiest country in the world is Sweden. 3rd is Iceland, then Denmark, then Finland. They're all in the same part of the world near the top of the list. This definitely wasn't the world's warmest places to live list.
Right.
They're all over there in the same part of the world. Okay, before we get to the United States, one more little part of the list. These are the least happy countries in all of the world. These are the bottom ones on the list. Botswana,
Okay.
Zimbabwe. I've been to both of those, which is kind of weird.
I've heard really great things about Botswana.
Beautiful. They're beautiful. That's where the largest populations of wild elephants live. Malawi, Lebanon, Sierra Leone is the second most unhappy country, and at the very bottom of the list, Afghanistan.
Okay.
War-torn,
Yes.
unsettled,
Lebanon,
women with
too.
no rights.
Yeah.
Afghanistan. All right. So how did the United States do? Well, the United States last year was number 23. This year, we're number 24.
Come
we actually
on,
slipped a little bit. This is what the experts say. In large part because young people under the age of 30 feel they live a worse life than they did last year. Large part, they're not happy about the election.
Oh.
Corruption, we didn't do well because of all the talk we have about how elections are being stolen. The report found that Americans are spending more and more time dining alone.
Oh.
This is a little anecdotal thing, but they say that more and more Americans are dining alone, and that points to loneliness, lack of companionship, and that sort of thing. So the United States did not do well. I believe that. Do we seem happy here? Like, you and I are very good-natured. We laugh all day and goof around, but we're not a happy country.
Yeah.
We're divided. We spend more time talking about the crap that we don't agree on than the vast majority of things that we do. I bet if you ask most people in this workspace, and we work with people on the right and on the left of every color, of every age, 75% of the stuff we'd all agree on. And yet we spend all of our time talking about the 25% of things that we don't agree on.
What's wrong? The bad parts. Have you been to Finland before?
No. So it's interesting you asked that. I've been to all these other countries at the top of the list. Denmark, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, but I've never been to number one, Finland.
I've heard that it's a really nice place.
It looks beautiful.
They give their people now like a stipend of money. I think it's more than $19,000 a year.
So when I was in Kuwait, they do that. So in Kuwait, if you're born in Kuwait, you get like $50,000 a year.
Yeah, because of the oil, right?
Yep, because of the oil. And that's the way the sheikh, the guy in charge, keeps the country happy.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're writing a check for everybody for $50,000 a year, yeah, they're pretty happy.
Not sure if this is still the case, but if you are a primary resident in Alaska, you got a little bit of a stipend from the oil, but I'm not sure if that still is the case.
It's 4:13 at WTMJ. A.J. Dillon News up next.
Whatever you want to call this season, we're over it. Time to look forward to
Fly ball, right field. It is deep. It is gone!
spring training is finally here and back on the radio.
Freeland, high drive, deep right, way back. Noel's going to be a spectator on that one.
Make sure to catch our next spring training broadcast as the Brewers take on the Diamondbacks Friday night at 8. No matter the season, we are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Are you sick of not being your bank's top priority? John Mercure here for Town Bank. They take a different approach to banking. They're proud to be your one true banking partner, focused on your unique financial goals. That's what they do at Town Bank. That's how they roll. They're going to take care of you every single time you walk in there, and they're right in your backyard. They're right there in your backyard. They've built new locations. They've beefed up their customer service online. I, like everybody else, do most of my banking online, and that's where they have great customer service, because you're going to run into an issue when you're transferring money, can't get a bill to go through, you just have a question. At Town Bank, part of the Wintrust family of community banks, they're going to be there to take care of you. And whether you're opening your first account, buying a home, planning for the future, or starting a business, at Town Bank, they have tailored solutions to help get you there. So stop settling, start experiencing a better way to bank. It's at Town Bank. Different approach, better results. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, townbank.us.
Come on in and take advantage of Fleet Farm Member Appreciation Days, March 20th through the 26th. Fleet Rewards members can take an extra 10% off qualifying purchases, in-store and online. Not a member? Sign up to get your discount now. The extra 10% is our way of thanking you for being a loyal Fleet Rewards member. So stock up on everything you need during Member Appreciation Days, now through Wednesday, and enjoy even more savings at Fleet Farm. Some restrictions apply.
This report sponsored by Go Right Way. Let them handle your rides to and from the airport. Let Go Right Way handle your rides to and from Mitchell Field or O'Hare airports. Traffic, let them deal with it. Parking, you won't miss the hassles. Reserve today at GoRightWay.com.
Hey, traffic and weather begins with Debbie Lazaga. Hey there, Deb.
Hey there, John. Southbound 41, really starting to see some delays from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Hampton Avenue, down towards Capitol Drive. Northbound slowing down from just north of Watertown Plank Road all the way up past Burleigh. Southbound 43, a little bit tight right through the Marquette interchange onto the high rise. On the northbound side, we got some backups from about Kilbourne all the way up to Keith. Westbound 94, watch for delays from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And then on the bypass, heading southbound from Beloit Road down and around the Hale interchange, you're going to see delays all the way to 92nd Street. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
And your forecast tonight, clear and cool, a low 29 degrees. Tomorrow, windy, a high of 54. Saturday, sunny, a high of 40. Sunday, chance for a rain mix, a high of 46. And on Monday, more of that mix, a high of 42 degrees.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is sponsored by Dave Dracamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDracamp.com.
All right, so A.J. Dillon, as you've heard by now, is no longer going to be a Green Bay Packer. He's going to the Philadelphia Eagles. And a lot of people are very sad about that because he had such a connection to Wisconsin. He says, by the way, he will still have that connection. It got me to thinking about all the things that he's meant to Wisconsin. He's more than a guy that lived and played in Green Bay. He famously really, really, really loved Door County, a place, Julie, that you also really love. His wife has a family home in Door County. They went to Door County all the time. They got engaged in Door County. They got married in Door County.
Wow.
And he actually got the key to Door County, like when you give somebody the honorary key to the city, because of what he's meant to Door County. Here he is on Thanasis Antetokounmpo's Thanalysis podcast talking about the invitation to Door County.
When are we going to get you to Door County?
I got the key. You gave me that invite? I'm there.
I have the key to the county, not the key to the city. The county. That's multiple cities and towns. I get the key. There's only one of them. There's only one. There's only one mayor. I don't know of any other mayors of any other counties. I'm extending the invitation. Bring whoever you like. Bring the whole team.
I'm bringing my family.
We got our guys up there all the time, and we'll show you a good place. We got a place for you to stay, good food, get you on the water if you like getting on the boats.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
They'd love that.
He loves Egg Harbor. He loves hanging out up there. Just a couple of weeks ago, there were pictures of him up there with his little boy, Trey, who was born on the same day he is, by the way. He shares a birthday with his son.
Oh, my gosh, how cute.
How cool is that? He really loves that place. Another thing he did when he was here was tap into his affinity for helping young kids. He has a book out, a series of books, and they're featuring a character called Quadzilla. They called him Quadzilla because his quads are so big. Here he's talking about his children's book.
I saw a lot of parents do some things, and I was like, you know what? I've always loved to read them, right? And I've always joked around, like, one day I'm going to write a book. It's about him trying new things, trying things with his friends, and, eventually he picks up football, and, that's his thing. He's great at it.
So he penned a goodbye message to Packer fans on his Instagram account, saying in part, Wisconsin became so much more than just the place I played football. It became home. It's where I grew up, started my family, made memories I'll cherish forever. It was an honor to wear the G and represent a special organization. I'm grateful for the relationships built, the lessons learned, and the unwavering support from Packers fans everywhere. You embraced me and my family from day one. We are forever thankful. Goodbye to Green Bay, but I will be back, and I'll continue to support Green Bay with my charitable foundation.
It's been so tough to hear from some of the athletes that are sending these tweets out, but it shows how much we mean to a lot of people.
It's pretty cool stuff. It is 4:19 at WTMJ.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Kohler Services and Outdoor Living Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Moms, dads, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. WTMJ's Julia Fellow. No gatekeeping here. I want to tell you about Just Between Friends Milwaukee County. Get your tickets now at milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com. It's a pop-up marketplace for you to buy and consign gently used infant all the way up to teen clothing and children's gear. You'll find up to 90% off the retail price. It's happening April 11th through the 13th at Wisconsin State Fair Park's Expo Center in West Allis. Head to milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com.
Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning, they are quite simply the best in the business. You want your water to be safe. You want to feel good about it. I know, we cook with it. We feed it to our dogs. We use it as a lifeline, literally. At Guthrie and Fry, they offer friendly, convenient, budget-conscious water conditioning systems. I've got an RO system. Basically, it's a little filter system. That means the water that we drink, that we use, is crisp, clean, clear. It's Guthrie and Fry. They take care of me big time. GuthrieFryWater.com is the website. Comprehensive, reliable products and services. Fixed rental rates all day long. They're Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice. They're my choice. Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
You've got several kids, or your job and other commitments keep you buried with work.
Meanwhile, the clutter is piling up at home. How can people stay tidy when their lives are in chaos?
We have a solution to help you chase away the chaos.
Yes. He's Dan, and I'm Katie. Together, we're Inspired Closets.
Our team at Inspired Closets can more than double your closet storage space via gorgeous closet renovations.
And our true lifetime warranty makes it a no-brainer. Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
4:23 on WTMJ. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. So the first thing that you would ask an astronaut, what it's like to be in space, right?
Yes.
But for Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, a better question may be, what is more than 250 days in space do to your body? 286. A lot. People notice the two rescued astronauts, 62-year-old Butch and 59-year-old Sonny, have gaunt appearances. And space can do so much on your body. It's really hard on your body. It's normal for the muscles to be weakened from space. Here's an astronaut describing that and what the body feels like once they return from space. It's former astronaut Tom Marshburn.
You feel all of the muscles dragging on your bones until your body gets used to gravity again.
Muscles dragging on your bones. Wouldn't that be such a weird sensation? Here's something NASA has been working to overcome, especially for us to become an interplanetary species. Loss of vision in space. That's terrible. Ooh. There's even a term for it, spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome, or SANS. So over time, microgravity can change the shape of your eye, swell your optic nerve, causing the back of your eye to flatten and develop folds in the retina. About 70% of all astronauts who go into space experience fuzzy vision. The eyes typically return to normal on Earth, so that's good news. And remember that swelling you heard in the optic nerve that can happen? Your entire head can swell as well in space. Since the body is 70% water, the fluid tends to shift in space. So they say in NASA, just like you're hanging upside down, the body fluids can migrate upwards towards the body, and the fluids build up in your face and head, making the astronauts appear puffy, if you ever wonder why the astronauts may look different in space. It can also change the pressure in your brain. The studies have shown that astronauts process some tasks really slow when in space rather than Earth. And as fluids move to the head, the legs can appear to wither. So many astronauts say they have chicken legs, and they call their feet baby feet because their feet look so much smaller in space. Isn't that weird? The fluid issues get better about 3 days after returning to Earth, they say. Being away from gravity pull can weaken your muscles so significantly. Here's the former astronaut talking about how weak he was.
You haven't been feeling the effects of gravity for 6 months, and it feels like just this huge magnetic, strange force that's welding you into your seat. Even your lips and your cheeks, everything feels heavy. So when I landed with my commander of the Dragon capsule, Rajachari, we tried to pick up some water bottles, and we dropped them in our lap because they just felt so heavy.
This is one I definitely question since you get all the rays and there's no ozone layer. Space radiation exposure. It can increase your cancer risk, and the radiation can even damage your DNA, triggering mutations which could cause cancer.
Wow.
So Mark Kelly, the senator in Arizona, for example, his twin brother, he says he's technically, and he jokes around it, he's no longer really his twin because his brother's DNA is so different now. The immune system is often weakened, and your skin gets 20% thinner, leading to that gaunt look that a lot of people are noticing in Sonny and Butch. Astronauts are 25% more likely to develop skin lesions, and it takes a long time to heal in space. So how will Sonny and Butch recover? They are now undergoing a 45-day rehab program on the ground that requires them to work out 7 days a week. They are now going to learn how to balance properly again and walk, and then they'll go up to cardio endurance. And they say that within 45 days, they'll be back to pre-flight status. So what could take years is bringing back their bone density, they say. It takes gravity for your bones to stay strong and tough.
6 months in space is the equivalent of 20 years worth of bone density loss.
So bringing them back means the astronauts taking on heavier load to stimulate their bones and strengthen back up. So I think it's really interesting.
It is interesting. How do they go to the bathroom in space?
Were you reading my script? I thought I was over time.
I know. How do they?
Okay, hoses with suctions at the end. So when that's not available, like when they're in a spacewalk, they wear a maximum absorbency garment.
Astronaut diapers.
They need to bring that down to Earth.
Yeah, no kidding. Like we're doing a long show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I would use it. Then they're known to occasionally leak, though, in space.
Okay, yeah, we don't need leaky diapers in here. That'd be bad.
When the astronauts went to the moon and back, they had catheters, just so you know.
Wow. Fascinating stuff. We always knew there were differences, but to actually hear how their body adjusts, that's good stuff. 428 at WTMJ, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. The NASDAQ off 59, the Dow off 11, the S&P was down 12. Annex Wealth Management, know the difference. I'm John Mercure. Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. About 15% of adults in the U.S. report problems hearing in one or both ears, and it can range from mild to severe hearing loss. If you have hearing loss, even if it's mild, it can impact your quality of life and ability to work or socialize. Here to tell us more is Jamie Jensen, an audiologist specializing in hearing loss with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are the signs of hearing loss?
For people who have some hearing loss, they may start noticing that they're having a hard time following conversations, particularly if there are two or more people talking or if there's background noise present in the environment. They may find that they're asking others to repeat more often or turning up the volume on the TV, often louder than is comfortable for other people in the room.
Are there more advanced treatments for hearing loss?
There are. For some people, typically when there's an issue in their middle ear, a surgery can be an option for treating their hearing loss. For people who have certain types of hearing loss that we call a conductive or a mixed hearing loss, a bone conduction implant may be a good option. This involves a surgery that allows sound to be transmitted to the inner ear of hearing, or the cochlea, by vibrating the bones in the skull. And then for people who have a more significant hearing loss and aren't getting enough benefit from their hearing aids, a cochlear implant is the best option. A cochlear implant involves a surgery as well as an external piece that looks similar to a hearing aid. The cochlear implant allows us to bypass the natural hearing system that isn't working appropriately anymore and to stimulate the hearing nerve directly.
Why should people with hearing loss seek treatment through the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network?
We have an experienced team of audiologists, ENT physicians, and neuro-otologists who will thoroughly evaluate your hearing. Based on the type and degree of hearing loss, whether it be mild, moderate, or severe, we will recommend a hearing treatment option that will best fit your hearing needs and will help you to meet your personal goals.
She's Jamie Jensen. Jamie, thank you for being with us today. To find a doctor who's right for you, visit freightert.com.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlawn's Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlawns.com when you're due for service.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 4:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: a hearing for Morgan Geyser postponed.
I'm Julia Fellow. President Trump signs a controversial executive order.
I'm Debbie Laziga. Southbound 43 backing up from before Appleton Avenue all the way down towards Hampton, and then the northbound side is slowing down from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up past Burleigh. Eastbound 94 got a little bit of a backup between Brookfield Road and Calhoun. On the westbound side, it's a little bit slow right past that point as well. A little bit further in, eastbound from 76th all the way through to 35th. The westbound side is backed up from about 25th Street all the way past Mitchell Boulevard, almost to Hawley Road. Southbound 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette, with the northbound side slow from Kilbourne all the way to Keefe. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Cool tonight, a low of 29. Tomorrow, there's a chance of evening showers, a high of 54. Right now, it's sunny and 39 degrees in Milwaukee.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Slender Man attacker Morgan Geyser will need to wait a bit longer for conditional release. A hearing scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed to April 28th. Wisconsin Community Services is still working on her conditional release plan, which will transition her from Winnebago Mental Health to a group home. Geyser's lived at the Health Institute since 2017 after she was found not guilty by reason of mental defect in the stabbing of her 12-year-old friend Peyton Lautner.
A third suspect in the death of a man outside the Hyatt downtown Milwaukee pled guilty to amended charges of battery. Devin Johnson Carson, working at the hotel front desk, when investigators say Devontae Mitchell entered the women's bathroom and was one of 4 men to pin the suspect down. Now he's the suspect. The medical examiner determined that Mitchell died by restraint asphyxia and the toxic effects of cocaine and meth. Johnson Carson will be sentenced in September.
A jury could reach a verdict this afternoon in a federal civil case against a former Wauwatosa police officer. The parents of Alvin Cole, a teenager who was killed by Joseph Mensa during a foot chase in 2020, filed the civil rights lawsuit alleging that Mensa used excessive force and the department he worked for embraces and promotes racism. Mensa killed 3 persons in the span of 5 years while on the force, all of which were deemed justified. Mensa resigned from the department in 2020.
At the White House, President Donald Trump signs an executive order this afternoon to begin dismantling the Department of Education.
After 45 years, the United States spends more money on education by far than any other country, and spends likewise by far more money per pupil than any country, and it's not even close. But yet, we rank near the bottom of the list in terms of success.
And during his remarks, the president admitted he'll need congressional approval to cut the federal agency.
The Trump administration is taking action against people accused of destroying Tesla cars and charging stations. News Nation's Laura Engel.
3 people have been charged in connection with the recent attacks on Tesla properties. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the charges carry a 5-year mandatory minimum sentence, underscoring that politically motivated violence will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law as per Bondi. Now, she says that she has condemned the violence, calling it, quote, nothing short of domestic terrorism.
The Department of Justice says the defendants are accused of using Molotov cocktails to set fire to Tesla cars and charging stations.
National spike in carjacking seems to have hit its peak from last year. What about the notorious reputation of Kias in Milwaukee? Head of Corporate Communications at Kia of America.
There's a running change to production. Back in 2021, all vehicles have the immobilizer built in, so that addressed that for any newer cars, again, since 2021. And then we rolled out a software upgrade, which basically mimics the activity of an immobilizer for all vehicles that have been impacted by this.
Kia thefts fell nearly 40% last year.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks look for a win in their Western road trip. Tonight, they face the Lakers. Coverage starts at 9 o'clock here on WTMJ. And college men's basketball, the tournament's underway. The Badgers beat the Montana Grizzlies in the first round. They're back on Saturday. Marquette takes the floor tomorrow night at 6:25 against New Mexico in Cleveland. Tournament updates are brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Badger Sports updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:35.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
4:36 on WTMJ. Almost time for the end of the work week.
Yeah.
And many workplaces are dealing with this, the great bore out.
What's that?
So it's when Gen Zers are specifically Gen Zers are being called out for quitting because they are bored, underwhelmed. Then we have some new employees who feel burnt out too quickly, so they quit really fast. Another trend amongst Gen Zers, revenge quitting. All of this is costing businesses money. We'll start with the great bore out, which many say is the new burnout, especially Wharton organizational psychologists. They've been studying this for years, and they're finding the term bore out has grown, especially since the shift to remote work. That's the culprit of being alone. It's left a feeling of underwhelm. Mindset expert and business owner Scott Allen Curley shares why this is happening more for Gen Z.
There are so many distractions these days with social media, gadgets, you name it. Many people, especially our younger people, are just looking for the next high, quote unquote. It makes it a little bit challenging, us owners, to keep the Gen Zers focused and excited about their task at hand.
What about the rest of us? Millennials, Gen X, boomers, you are not off the hook with underwhelm. While working from home, and we all know a lot if you like remote or hybrid work.
In theory, that would be wonderful because obviously as the owners, that's one of the major costs that we could cut if people could work from a virtual space and be just as effective. But the concern is being productive. And there are so many distractions. And it takes a very special type of person to be able to do it effectively where it works for the employee and works for the company. And that is a struggle, especially, again, not to pick on the younger people, but the Gen Zs do have kind of more of a struggle with that.
Now, from being bored to burnt out, he says it's on you to tell your employer, communicate, let them know, go one-on-one, make sure that you tell them. What about this one? Pretending to be busy at work.
What?
I am mad about that.
Yeah.
That makes me really mad.
That's not good. Come on.
What is that about?
Oh, look, I'm so busy over here. You pretend you're typing.
Have you ever gone up to somebody and they act like, oh, you just caught me?
Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm in the middle of
or they pick
everything.
up their phone like, oh, I was just making this important phone call. Yeah.
Some people are really good at it, but it doesn't get past Scott Allen Curley. He says the person who should take ownership on this issue, people pretending to be busy, are managers. They're managers.
There's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. I don't really care about someone being busy. You can shuffle papers all day and be considered busy. What's important to me is whether or not my folks are productive. And that comes down to us defining the meaning of work.
Someone's got to be monitoring them. Now there's something Gen Z is doing with feeling bored out of their minds, burnt out or wronged. Revenge quitting.
Oh.
That's really rude, too.
What is that?
Okay, here's what Scott Allen Curley thinks about this. Basically, you're mad about something and you just quit right on the spot.
Wow. That's hurting the community and the society as a whole. There's so much now that is being done for us through automation that when you ask someone to actually do some work, the audacity of us to expect you to do work. And I say that a little tongue in cheek, but that's a challenge that we as owners and CEOs now are facing. And if there's someone who takes that approach, then they're probably shooting themselves in the foot because that will get around.
So bored, burnt out, underwhelmed, or revenge quitting for whatever reason, you know what that does? It costs the company a lot of moolah. On average, anywhere from $4,000 to more than $20,000. Scott Allen Curley says it's at least $20,000 for him.
Wow.
And if you think about why does it cost so much money? Because it's the onboarding of the new employee, getting them in the system, 401k match, signed up for insurance, and then they up and quit. And this is what new employees might want to have in their mindset before making any rash decisions.
The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I would encourage any employee, if they're feeling tempted to job hop, I would encourage before you do that, have some conversations with the leadership team. Let them know how you feel. Tell them what your challenges are. Let them know what you need from them in order for them to make it a better workplace and a better work environment. In other words, give the company a chance to help you.
I have a coworker at another company, and will remain unnamed. The person has to work an overnight shift, okay?
Yeah.
And just keeps on calling sick a few minutes before her shift.
Not cool. She took the job knowing it was an overnight shift, right?
And then sometimes the text says, I'm off for the next 2 weeks. With no explanation.
No.
How is that
How have we let the employee become the boss?
there?
Where the
right
employee's
there.
deciding, I'm calling in sick. I'm giving you 5 minutes notice. I'm not showing up. I'm not doing that project. You're making me work too hard. And I don't want to generalize because that's really not fair, but there's a lot of it in the workforce in all different ages. I see people upstairs here that are my age, not just the young people, that are also like pretending like they look really busy. Come on.
That is out of control.
I wish I had time to pretend like I was looking busy.
I don't have enough minutes in the day.
Yeah.
We have 4 hours to
crazy.
put on a 3-hour show, sometimes less if we have to do news.
Yeah. I don't even have time to take a pee.
Same.
I got to go right now as a matter of fact.
Do we need to get those astronaut catheters
Yeah,
for you?
we do. Or the diapers, just the astronaut
The
diapers.
diapers. Super absorbent.
It's 4:42 at WTMJ.
Steve Scafidi is your guide through the world of politics.
One of the big questions, of course, in front of the Wisconsin Supreme Court is Act 10. What happens next?
I don't know what they're going to do. The court could bring it directly up. That issue was decided before I was ever Attorney General.
On the Political Power Hour.
I hesitate to make an absolute guarantee in any case on how I would rule on a recusal request because in my mind that is prejudging or predeciding an issue.
Weekday mornings from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
John Mercure here for Annex Wealth Management, Investment and Retirement Planning. It's important, but too many people just put it off. This is a gentle reminder to have a talk with Annex Wealth Management. Getting to know Annex is easy. If it makes sense, you move forward, and there's nothing wrong with a second look at your current plan, especially if your current partner is going through changes that make you uncomfortable, that you're not feeling good about. Annex operates as one team always. In-house financial planning, investment, tax, and estate teams are in-house. Annex makes it convenient with branches across the WTMJ listening area. Meeting online, that's no problem. That's where Annex Everywhere comes in. Tariffs contribute to uncertainty. Volatility is here. It's time for a seasoned approach for you and your family. The time to do something is sooner rather than later. Visit AnnexWealth.com. Michelle and I did this years ago. Click the Get Started button and schedule your own appointment today. It's Annex Wealth Management, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin, northern Illinois, or always as close as your computer. Annex Wealth Management, fee-only fiduciary. Know the difference with Annex.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Do you want the economy mulch or the premium? The only real difference is that the premium mulch has thicker strands, while the economy mulch is finer. But the colorant we use for both is of the highest quality, and that's why the color of our mulch lasts longer. And our mulch comes from trees, not pallets, and we process it all in-house. That's why our prices are so low. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. At Erickson's Landscape Supply, we have durable, maintenance-free polywood patio furniture and #1 grade treated natural pine Amish-made patio furniture. And we also have a wonderful assortment of concrete benches, statues, and fountains available in a selection you just gotta see to believe. Erickson's Landscape Supply, high-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less, plus a whole lot more. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection or stop on in today.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga, how are the roads?
Well, we've got southbound 43 still kind of backed up heading through the Marquette interchange right now from Fond du Lac Avenue down over the high-rise bridge. Southbound on 43 right about at Hampton, we got the right lane blocked with a broken down vehicle. So delays basically coming in from Appleton down past that point. Northbound slowing down from Watertown Plank Road up past Burleigh. Southbound 894 coming down all out of the Zoo Interchange all the way down to Lincoln. Got some backups there. Westbound 94, watch for delays from 25th Street all the way to Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Cool tonight, a low of 29. Windy tomorrow with a chance of evening showers. The high will be 54. Sunny Saturday with a high of 40. Chance of rain snow mix Sunday. The high will be 46. Early winter mix Monday, then cloudy throughout the day Monday. The high will be 42 degrees. Right now it's sunny and 39 degrees in Milwaukee.
I want to tell you the story that's important. It's sad, but very important, and there's a way that you can help make a difference for a family from Waterford. A terrible crash in Nebraska changed the life of one Wisconsin teen forever. Her name is Evelyn Laux. She goes by Evie. She was paralyzed in a crash in a vehicle in Nebraska. She's recovering. She's going to make it, but her life has clearly been changed forever. Every parent's literally worst nightmare, and Evie's parents are with us on the line this afternoon. They are Connie and TJ. Thank you so much for making some time for us. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
I know this is so difficult, and our prayers are with you. Our thoughts are with you, and I know people say that a lot, but we mean it, and we're wishing really good things for your beautiful daughter. When did you find out, and how did you find out that something terrible had happened?
Oh, gosh, it was a terrible call to get, but thank God for Life 360. I definitely have been telling a lot of parents about it afterwards. We had Evie on Life 360 because she was a new driver, and it detected a crash and called us. And so we got a text message from the service, and then in addition, we actually got a phone call, and they were able to get through to her and confirm she was alive, thank God. But nonetheless, to hear that call that she had been in a crash was horrifying. And then they actually dispatched emergency services, and she was in a very remote part of Nebraska. So again, thank God for services like that. Sometimes technology can be really great.
Wow, I didn't know that Life 360 could do that. Shadi Robinson, who went missing, John, that's how they tracked her every step. So that's a really important app. I didn't know it could do that for crashes.
Connie, how soon did you know that the injuries were really serious? Did you know almost immediately? What was it like when they got to Evie?
Yeah. So once the paramedic got to her, they said that she could not feel her feet or her legs. She couldn't move them. I was still, even I was kind of in shock. So I was thinking, well, that's okay. They're going to fix that. So I still hadn't really thought that this was going to be permanent. And so I just waited to hear from the surgeon at the next hospital. And then once he took a look at the images, then that's when I heard the news that this was pretty serious. He couldn't even at that point guarantee that it wasn't life-threatening. And so we all started panicking, and the only thought in my head was, I got to get to my baby somehow. So we just tried to figure out a way to get to Nebraska.
I want to bring you in here, TJ. This is your baby girl, and we're looking at a picture of her, and she's beautiful and special in so many ways. Tell us what makes her so special.
Well, she's very she's very active, very outgoing. She loves to play sports, go hunting, fishing. She just always loves animals. Her passion, she really wants to be a veterinarian surgeon, for large animals. She works at a petting zoo. She's just always about, animals and, loving, like I said, sports to outdoors, just everything. She just likes just about anything and pretty easygoing.
So TJ, where is she right now? And is she able to walk? What is going on now?
She's at Craig's Hospital, so we were able to med flight her from Nebraska to Craig's Hospital in Colorado. And she is not walking. They don't think that there will be any kind of chance of her being able to walk unless some kind of technology in the future, who knows what the future might bring. But as of right now, it's they never say zero, but it's next to zero, like 0.02%.
Why? Did she completely sever something?
Yes. She's completely severed her spine between the 11th and 12th, T11 and T12. But her injury is Asia 8, I believe, but my wife can correct me. She's more on the medical terms. but Asia 8, I believe, is what her medical diagnosis is.
So
Yeah.
tell us how she's doing. Take her inside her mindset. As devastating as an adult, she's a young woman who you said is very active. Shocking this must be to all of you, including her. How is she doing?
For the most
Go ahead.
For the most part, I mean, she's doing a lot of ups and downs, right? So there's a lot of times when she's not feeling herself, and there's times when she's better than what we would think that she would be. Being only 17 and being in the condition she's in, I would say she's got pretty high spirits. She's got lots of hopes of getting back to as much of normal as she can, knowing that her new normal is not the normal of what she was, but she's still keeping her spirits up to try to go to school, finish out her high school years, and then get on to college and keep on with her dream of working with animals.
Connie, jump in here. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, pretty similar. I think I'm impressed with how she is trying to continue to push herself, but the reality is she's going to need a lot of assistance for those things. Some of those things that she wants to continue to do is going to require specialized equipment, and everything takes extra time. It's not like a typical person that can just walk to the next room to get ready in the morning. So it's all going to be quite a challenge for her. So daily she does pretty good, but then once she realizes just how long everything takes and all of the extra cares that she needs, sometimes she does get a little bit down. And I guess the good news is, thank God, we have a good community of people that are kind of like her at Craig's Hospital. So she's around all of that right now, but I'm concerned when she goes home and she's around all of her friends that aren't in the same condition as her. How is that going to be? Is she going to start having those feelings of feeling like she's really different and she can't do the things that she wants to do? So we worry.
We're talking to TJ and Connie Laux. Their daughter Evie was in a terrible car crash and she's paralyzed. I'm going to tell you how you can help in just a second here, but I want you, TJ, to weigh in on that. When you look at your girl, what does the road ahead look like for her?
Well, it's definitely different. It's just a whole another way of life of like Connie was saying about everything just takes that much longer and that much more, like even to get out to the farm or to see the horses, we're looking at some things like it's a UTV, like Trek, wheelchair type thing, or to get out into the outdoors to do extra things. Just a whole different look on the life of where she's going. There is technology and things to get her there. It's just gonna be different in trying to find the processes how to get it.
This is so tough, and this is going to be very expensive. It's going to be very time consuming, and our listeners are very, very generous. If you want to help, a GoFundMe page has been set up. And I know you guys, this isn't your lifestyle. This isn't the way that you usually roll, but people want to help you. No. This is something you didn't expect when you woke up one morning. And if people would like to help, here's the easiest way they can do that. A beautiful GoFundMe page has been set up. Text the word to us, donate. Text the word donate to the Siding Unlimited talk and text line 855-616-1620. Text the word donate to that phone number, 855-616-1620. You get taken to a page that has information on Evelyn. It has her picture, and more importantly, it has a way that you can donate. Right now, $115,000 has been raised. That's going to end up being a drop in the bucket. This is going to be in a very expensive transition. This is a young woman who needs our help. How difficult is it, Connie, TJ, when you think about the sort of help that she's going to need?
I mean, right now we're so beyond grateful for every penny that everybody has donated so far. I never even imagined everybody would come forward like this for us. So, I mean, it's an answer to a prayer, but just like you said, we started realizing the cost of everything and how it adds up. And yeah, you're right. It isn't enough to help with the addition to the house that we have to put on and the equipment that she needs if she wants to be able to work with animals or go hunting or even play a sport, or just simply the rural area that we live in. We have to get her new tires for her wheelchair, and we have to get her new seat cushions and things that just are not covered by insurance. And so things add up, and I'm so grateful for every penny that everybody is able to help us with.
So let's make a difference. Let's help out. Text the word donate to 855-616-1620. You can help make a difference. Whether it's $5, whether it's $500, whether it's whatever you can give, it will make a difference for this young woman. Great Wisconsin family dealing with something they never thought they'd have to deal with. Please text the word donate to 855-616-1620, and you can make a difference for Evelyn. She's got a long life ahead of her. Let's give her the things that she can still accomplish. 855-616-1620. You can text the word donate. Connie and TJ Laux, our prayers are with you. Our hearts are with you. Keep us updated, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much for everything.
It is 4:56 at WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition rolls out a program aimed at helping small and medium-sized companies incorporate artificial intelligence into their operations. Executives with department store chain Kohl's stand by the company's portfolio of more than 1,100 stores as a couple dozen locations close their doors by April. Leaders of the national retailer say the store portfolio overall is healthy and profitable. And renovations are underway by Northwestern Mutual on the former University Club of Milwaukee property. The life insurance giant is in the process of maintenance work on the facility's brick exterior as it molds the downtown building's future use. I'm Sari Lesk with MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Get 0% interest for up to 72 months. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
For Jenna, helping others find joy is so rewarding. It's why we love to do what we do.
I enjoy simplifying the process for the customer, taking the time to listen, and finding the right solution.
Randy understands that everyone's situation is different, so we don't just slap together cookie-cutter solutions.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
Jake arrives at your free in-home consultation with pre-prepared materials to fully envision your dream Pella build.
We're with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Whether you're working with Ryan or another Pella consultant, we don't go away after the sale. We're ready with anything you may need before, during, and after installation. And right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% interest for up to 72 months. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Your stress-free spring break trip starts in your driveway with Go Right Way, Wisconsin's largest chauffeured fleet. Start your vacation as soon as you leave your house by letting Go Right Way handle your rides to and from Mitchell Field or O'Hare. Luggage? Go Right Way has it. Traffic? Go Right Way handles it. Parking hassles? You won't miss them. Go Right Way's professional, on-time chauffeurs are background checked and their vehicles are premium and meticulously cleaned. Your journey starts with a ride you can trust. Book your ride today at GoRightWay.com.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
$1 for just $1 over cost. You can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. Available at all 5 Griffin stores. Just $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
1 week later, and the Bucks and Lakers are back at it again.
Brook Lopez with his third block. Giannis goes rumbling the other way, lays it in with a foul through contact.
Our matchup in LA begins tonight at 9. We are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
I'm John Mercure. Your top story, waiting a little longer for a conditional release.
I'm Julia Fellow. Funding the federal government could cost Wisconsin.
I'm Debbie Laziga. Southbound 41, south of Appleton Avenue. We've got the left shoulder blocked with a crash, so watch out for that. Delays continue all the way down to Capitol Drive. Northbound slowing down from about Blue Mound Road all the way up past North Avenue. Southbound 43 backing up from North Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise. Northbound slow from Kilbourne up to Keefe. Westbound 94. Watch for delays from 25th Street to Hawley Road. Back on the brakes west of Highway 100 into Waukesha County past Elm Grove Road. And then from Moreland Road all the way to Brookfield Road. I'm Debbie Laziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, clear and cool, a low of 29 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Slenderman attacker Morgan Geyser will need to wait a bit longer for conditional release. A hearing scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed to the end of April. Wisconsin Community Services still working on her release plan, which will transition her from Winnebago Mental Health to a group home.
A jury expected to have a verdict this afternoon in a federal civil case against a former Wauwatosa police officer and the city's insurance provider.
Joseph Mensah killed 3 persons of color in the span of 5 years on the force, all of which were deemed justified. One of those killed was Alvin Cole, a teenager shot by Mensah during a foot chase in 2020 that sparked protests in the city. Cole's parents filed the lawsuit in 2021, alleging Mensah used excessive force and that the department embraces and promotes racism. Mensah resigned from the department in 2020 and now works for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. He is facing no criminal charges in this trial. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Earlier this afternoon, President Trump signed an executive order directing Secretary Linda McMahon to take all legal steps to shrink the Education Department. He also detailed what won't be cut.
Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved, fully preserved.
President Trump says he'll need congressional approval to cut the federal agency.
A new bill to fund the federal government will cut millions from Wisconsin projects.
The spending bill targets projects secured by both Republicans and Democrats. And the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says in total, Wisconsin would lose more than $250 million. The cuts include a wastewater treatment plant in Prairie du Chien and National Guard readiness centers in Wausau and in Wisconsin Rapids. Eric Bilstad, WTMJ News.
Coming up, revealing a former president's sleep habits.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:04.
Hey, boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com. At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Stormfisher with Stormfisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Osaic Advisory Services LLC. Osaic Advisory. Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, and services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 5:06.
A former First Lady makes some revelations about sleep during a recent podcast appearance.
What's ideal bedtime?
Man, anytime after dinner. Michelle Obama tells Kylie Kelsey's Not Gonna Lie podcast the former president is clueless.
My husband teases me about how early I can go to bed. He just doesn't understand.
Kylie, who's expecting her fourth daughter with retired NFL star husband Jason Kelsey, says she pushes it a little.
Coming from someone who likes the AARP special reservation, which is the 5:30 reservation, I would love to be in bed by like 8:30.
Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Badgers move on. They knock off Montana in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They play again on Saturday. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more. Marquette begins their turn in the dance tomorrow night against New Mexico. Tournament updates are brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Plus, the Bucks continue their trip out west. Coverage against the Lakers begins at 9 o'clock on WTMJ.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 5:08.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. Tax tip number 7. Did you know a limited liability company, or LLC, can file a tax return 4 different ways? Many businesses form an LLC to separate the business from them personally for legal purposes to avoid liability. But figuring out the best way to file taxes can require some advice from a tax professional. LLCs can file using Form 1040 on Schedule C. LLCs can file as an S corporation or a C corporation using Form 1120S or 1120. LLCs can file as a partnership using Form 1065. There are usually other forms that need to be filed with the IRS before filing as a corporation or a partnership. Other questions surround the LLC designation, too. Can an LLC own another LLC? Yes. Does rental property need to have its own LLC? Maybe, maybe not. There are other reasons to form an LLC, but be sure to know your circumstances before electing which form to file. For more information on this tip and other tax tips, go to nealgroup.net or stop in and see us.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. How do your books look? Are they ready for your tax return to be prepared? Did you and your accountant talk during the year and develop a plan to minimize your tax bill? Or does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. Your books are a mess and the bank account hasn't been reconciled since last year. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. That's not the case with the Neal Group. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow. We like to work with you throughout the year to keep your books up to date so you run your business profitably. Are you ready to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net to book a meeting and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait, do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
We made it, Julia. It
I
is
know.
Friday Eve.
Thank goodness.
Thursday. Hey, there's something pretty cool coming up. Debbie Lazaga has an overview of a magical time of year.
So riddle me this. What happens twice a year? Some say you can balance an egg only on this day, and was a big deal back in ancient history. Give up? It's the equinox, and today we're celebrating the vernal equinox, and it's the official kickoff to spring in the northern hemisphere. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Equal what now? Don't worry, we'll walk you through it. By we, I mean I called in a little help. UWM Manfred Olson Planetarium Director Dr. Gene Crichton. So what exactly is the equinox?
The official definition would be where the celestial equator meets the ecliptic. It is the two times of the year in two places, if you will, in space, where the path of the sun intersects with our equator that's projected onto the sky.
Oh, much better. I get that. So it's all about the Earth's orbit around the sun. Since the Earth is tilted about 23.5 degrees, right now we're neither tilted away nor towards the sun. We're kind of at a balance.
If the Earth was standing upright, then the path of the sun and that projection onto the sky would be exactly the same. But because we're tilted, they meet those two lines only twice a year.
The word equinox actually comes from the Latin words equa, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night.
Everybody on the planet has 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. Generally speaking, every other day of the year, you either have more night or more day. And that's true everywhere.
So then why does spring start off on different days each year?
There's an exact moment when, the sun is plodding around along the ecliptic, the path of the sun, and it bumps into the celestial equator at a particular time. And that's why sometimes it's the 21st of March, but it could be the 20th, it could be the 22nd, right? So there's a little bit of give on exactly when that happens.
Ancient cultures like Egypt and the Mayans knew this day was special. They built incredible monuments like Chichen Itza in Mexico, where during the equinox, a shadow falls on the pyramid, creating the illusion of a feathered serpent of Kukulkan descending the steps. It also marked the time when people would start planting crops, pretty important for those ancient civilizations if you think about it. Even modern science continues to study the equinox, using it as a reference point for understanding the Earth's orbit and climate patterns. So there you have it, folks, the vernal equinox, a day of balance, renewal, and the official start of spring. Oh, and that whole balancing an egg thing only on the equinoxes? Not a thing. There's no correlation to the Earth's gravitational pull changing on any spot in its orbit around the sun. Sorry, but hey, we're getting more daylight every day, and soon it'll be summer. So there's that. Hooray! Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
5:13 at WTMJ, the best in the business. TMJ4's Charles Benson inside some of the early voting numbers. Up next.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes.
There, yeah, she flew off the road right at a bridge, so she went down an embankment. No one could see her vehicle
Until a guy named Johnny Martinez happened to come by.
I said, ma'am, how long have you been here? And she said, I've been here since Wednesday night. And I said, no, it's today's Tuesday.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40. Presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Otto's Wine and Liquor, serving Milwaukee since 1945. Otto's Wine and Spirits is the best in the business. Employee-owned. Their staff is knowledgeable and friendly. They know our community, and they know their selection inside and out. They'll beat any advertised price. Best selection, best value. When I'm entertaining or I need some wine, it's Otto's. That's my stop. There's 7 locations. Mine's in Menominee Falls. That's my home store. They're in Milwaukee, Elm Grove, Brown Deer, Cedarburg, and expanding. It's their 80th birthday year. They're going to take great care of you. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, oh yeah, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Traffic and weather. Debbie Lazaga, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, we had that earlier accident south of Appleton Avenue. That has now been cleared out of the way. We just have delays from just north of Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. Northbound slowing down from Mayfair Road up to Burleigh. Southbound 43 backing up from North Avenue down through the Marquette all the way down to the KK River. Northbound slowing out of the Marquette up to Keefe. Eastbound 94, watch for a little bit of a backup from right through the Barker Road area, past Barker Road, almost all the way to Brookfield Road. And then you're back on the brakes from about 70th Street to Hawley Road. Southbound on the bypass, looking at delays from just before you get to Lincoln all the way, or actually just before Greenfield down to Lincoln. And then on westbound 894, delays from Loomis all the way to Forest Home. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear skies, a low of 29. Tomorrow, afternoon showers, a high of 54. Saturday is sunny but chilly, a high of 40. Sunday, a rain-snow mix is possible, a high of 46. Same for Monday with a high of 42. It's currently 39 degrees. Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast, sponsored by Dave Drake-Camp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Check out our podcast and visit davedrakecamp.com. Charles Benson is the senior national political reporter for Scripps News and the chief political reporter for TMJ4. And Charles is with us in the studio. Always good to see you, Charles.
Great to be here.
Early voting surging in Wisconsin.
Surge is the right word.
Is it?
That's the word I'm using.
You're inside the numbers. Tell us what's going on.
All right, so we're going to do a little Steve Kornacki here, right?
Yes.
We're going to get a little nerdy here. But let me set the premise here because it's important to understand that. We have in-person voting, and that started on Tuesday. In-person is when people go to their clerk's office, fill out the ballot, and then, put it in an envelope.
Yep.
That is still an absentee ballot. And then we have another number, which is people who mail in, okay? That's an absentee number. So when you add up the in-person and the people who have mailed in, I'm going to hold up something here which doesn't make great TV, but this is the map that I use, okay? So far, 136,000 people in Wisconsin have voted in this April election. All right, so what does that mean? Well, the best way to compare is to look at 2 years ago. We had an April election for another high-profile state Supreme Court race. 2 days into it, total number of people who had already voted, 100,000. So we're 36,000 already ahead of that pace, which was a huge turnout for an April election in for a state Supreme Court race.
So more than 35% above what it was.
Yeah.
That's big.
You're good at math because I was trying to figure that out. Compared to where we were, we're already at 35%.
Yeah.
Now let's just look at in person, all right? Because that's also a separate category that comes out of the total number. So I'm going to show you in person so far, just 2 days. And by the way, you can see this on the Wisconsin Election Commission. They monitor this every day, and they post the numbers county by county. So nearly 60,000 people have voted in person, all right? 2 years ago, we were at 31,000.
Whoa, more than double.
Right. So yesterday when I did the math, we were up 120% on in-person.
Wow.
And we were up about 50% on total with the absentee. So what does that mean? We don't know, right? We don't know just because people said, oh, I'm out of we're starting off fast. So where do we get to? Do we get to 1.8 million, which is what we saw 2 years ago? Do we get to 3.4 million, which is what we saw in November for presidential? Unlikely. So the question is, what does this mean? And we don't have any way because they don't count these ballots until Election Day. We all know about that. But we look for trends. So three biggest counties are what? Milwaukee, Dane, Waukesha.
Waukesha led the first day of in-person voting.
In person, and the second day as well. So what does that tell you? the two biggest counties, Milwaukee and Dane, have the overall biggest numbers so far of total votes. Two strong Democratic counties. When you look at just the in-person, that reliable Republican county is leading both those other counties when it comes to in-person. And I think what you're seeing there is a style. People like to, in Waukesha County, vote more in person than they do in Milwaukee and Dane. Again, we don't know what that means for whether you're Brad Schimmel or Susan Crawford. We don't know yet because you have to wait to see what that total number is going to be. But the early numbers, as we use this term surge, indicates that people are very interested in this race, at least to give it a very fast start when it comes to early voting.
So at the end of the day, it could mean that less people will go on Election Day and the number ends up being the same because there's no way to play that out or know.
That's the thing.
For sure.
And I've never tried to get into the guessing game how many people are going to vote because you just, it's like, when's the jury coming out?
That's right. Right. It's a guess.
But we were talking before we went on the air, what kind of numbers, dollar-wise, are we seeing?
Okay.
So what are we? So the numbers in from, I'll attribute it to WisPolitics, are in the Supreme Court race. Right now they're at $77 million.
Think about that.
Last time it was 51, and that was a huge number.
Think about it. Wisconsin has had the most expensive state Supreme Court races back-to-back, not just in our state, in the entire country. That is more money than anyone's ever spent on a state Supreme Court race. And here we are. And they sort of project out. That 77 million number is supposed to get us to April 1st, right?
That's what they're projecting.
So that's what they're saying now. But last week or 2 weeks ago, they were at 59
Exactly.
million. So this race, and it's the part that we have talked about earlier, this race has become the battle of the billionaires, right? We are seeing it on both sides. Elon Musk getting the most attention because the groups that, the PACs that he has is spending the most from an independent point of view. But we are seeing the billionaires on the Democratic side with George Soros, the governor from Illinois, and then on the Republican side with Elon Musk and Diane Hendricks. So it has become this battle of billionaires as Wisconsin decides who's going to control the state
all
Supreme
eyes
Court.
with the nation are on this race, and Donald Trump Jr. just joined Schimmel on the race.
So I was out there last Tuesday night, that was, or maybe, So, and Don Jr. is there.
And Walz was campaigning
and
for Crawford.
So they're here on both sides. And it's just it's getting so much attention. And the thing is, people are wondering, like, is this the new normal?
Right. That's the question.
Because going forward, we've got another one next year.
Is it next year?
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I read, and I heard on the radio, and I really can't remember where I heard it. Someone was on projecting that we could see 200 million next time, and we might get to 100 this time. That literally is hard to imagine.
For someone who's covered politics for 40 years in this state, and I remember, here's another thing. In 2017, Annette Ziegler ran. She's the Chief Justice right now.
Yeah.
You know how many people challenged her?
How many?
0.
Wow. That'll never happen again.
Never.
But that's less than 10 years
That's
ago.
mind-boggling.
It is absolutely mind-boggling. But here's the thing. Each of these last two have been to control, which way does it lean, right? We're 4-3 on the liberal side. For a decade and a half, the conservative side had it. So if this race goes in, if you say Susan Crawford wins, and then the next 2 years we have a conservative up, we're not into a potential swing of the court. Still an important race, but not the swing that potentially can come out as a result of the election.
Man, fantastic stuff. For this sort of analysis, check out Charles Benson. His work is on TMJ4. I have the article in front of me. He also posts everything online, TMJ4.com.
And just the opposite of that, too. If Brad Schimmel wins, then we're back into...
Again, then we are. Then we are in the seesaw.
Then we are in the seesaw.
It is fascinating stuff. He's the chief political reporter for TMJ4, Charles Benson. Always great perspective. Charles, thank you so much.
Great to be here.
524 at WTMJ. Time for the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And everything today was in the red, but it actually came back down to earth a little bit. The Dow ended off 11 points. The NASDAQ was off 59. The S&P closed down 12 points on the day. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right? Welcome to Kessler's.
Save big money on your next outdoor project at Menards. Menards has the best in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated wood fencing, lumber, and decking. All easy to load in our convenient drive-through lumber yard. Plus, you can get free estimates fast with our fence and deck design programs in-store or on Menards.com. Don't forget to check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. If you save for retirement in a 401k or IRA, let me ask you, do you know how much of that money is actually yours? Or will taxes take a bigger bite than you expected? Right now, taxes are historically low, but with growing national debt and government spending, do you think they'll really stay that way? Many retirees are shocked to realize the IRS might be one of the biggest expenses in retirement. Here's the good news. You do have options. Smart tax strategies can help you keep more of your hard-earned money instead of handing it over to Uncle Sam. At Drake & Associates, we help our clients create tax-efficient retirement income plans so they can enjoy their wealth instead of worrying about it running out. And here's the catch. These strategies work best when you plan ahead. That's why I'm offering you a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you understand how taxes could impact your retirement and what you can do about it. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 right now to claim your free copy while supplies last. The longer you wait, the fewer options you may have. Take control of your retirement today. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping you keep more of what you've earned.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
I love my dogs, Bella and Baxter. They're like having kids in the house in some ways. And a lot like raising children, the dogs don't always listen great. That started to change. I started working with Sit Means Sit dog training, and they are better dogs. I can just tell because now we know what we're supposed to do. They've got the best trainers at Sit Means Sit. They've got the best techniques at Sit Means Sit. There are a lot of choices. My choice is Sit Means Sit dog training. It's just the way to go. You too can have a happy, confident, obedient dog, a dog that does what they're supposed to do. Contact them today for a free consultation. That's right. You go in, you give it a little test drive. You check it out for yourselves, and then you decide. It's free. SitMeansSitWaukesha.com.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses, and those of us who live here. Sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Well, last few months, we have had a lot of newsworthy events with an insurance angle kind of to each of them. The stream of events should remind all of us the importance of properly designed insurance programs. Jeff, tell us what you're seeing.
Thanks, Vince. Great to be here. Yes, 2025 is already off to an ominous start. A cyber data breach impacting over 60 million students and teachers, with dozens of Wisconsin districts impacted. Natural catastrophes continue to increase in both frequency and severity of damages. Although Wisconsin fared better than many states, this is no time to be complacent.
So, Jeff, why is that important to people who are listening right now?
Vince, while these events are destructive and expensive, they can be insured against quite easily. When these issues are ignored or handled improperly, they can change your life, drain your resources, maybe destroy your business. Quite simply, a properly designed insurance program has never been more relevant nor more important than today. If you're not getting good guidance from your insurance provider and they're uninformed on these issues, you're jeopardizing your assets, your business, and maybe your future.
A lot of options for insurance out there, Jeff. Why should families or businesses work with R&R Insurance?
Thanks, Vince. We deliver thought leadership around asset protection. It's what we do best. We inform you of where the market opportunities are today. We work with you to best position your account or your company for review by an underwriter. and R&R can get multiple companies competing for your account. It'll cost you nothing to sit down with R&R Insurance. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience, we'd love to sit down and speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 5:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: the jury has spoken in the Joseph Mensa trial.
I'm Julia Fellow, blocking Doge access to Americans' personal info.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, and we have a new accident on 41 southbound right at the ramp from Appleton Avenue. It's off on the right shoulder, so watch out for the delays past that. And it's going to stay slow all the way down past Capitol Drive. We're looking at about a 17-minute ride from Highway Q to the zoo, so a 3-minute delay there. Southbound on 43, backing up from North Avenue down through the Marquette interchange and over the high-rise bridge. Northbound, you're looking at delays basically from Kilbourne up to Keefe. Eastbound 94, we've got some delays from about 76th Street all the way to 35th, the westbound side from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, mainly clear and cool, low of 29. Tomorrow, windy, a chance of evening showers, a high of 54. Right now, it's 38 degrees in Milwaukee.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the breaking news this afternoon: a jury is hung. That's in the case of Joseph Mensa, the former Wauwatosa police officer. Here's the background. The parents of Alvin Cole, one of the teenagers who was killed by Mensa during a foot chase in 2020, I should say the teenager killed, filed a civil rights lawsuit alleging Mensa used excessive force and the department he worked for embraces and promotes racism. This afternoon, just moments ago, a jury coming back telling the judge they cannot reach a verdict after more deliberation. They are a hung jury. No verdict reached in the federal civil case against former Tosa police officer Joseph Mensa. More on this as we gather it throughout the afternoon.
More news at 5:32. A third suspect in the death of a man outside the Hyatt Hotel downtown Milwaukee pled guilty to charges of battery. Devin Johnson Carson was working at the hotel front desk when investigators say Devontae Mitchell entered the women's bathroom and was one of 4 men to pin him to the ground outside the hotel. The medical examiner says he died of homicide by restraint and asphyxia. Johnson Carson will be sentenced in September.
President Trump gains an appeal court pick as a former Wisconsin justice retires.
Diane Sykes is chief judge of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago, which covers Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. She's moving to senior status this fall. That means she'll enter semi-retirement, continuing to serve, but hearing a reduced number of cases. Sykes was reportedly on Trump's list of Supreme Court candidates in 2016, but was not nominated. Before joining the 7th Circuit, she served as a Wisconsin Supreme Court justice, and before her law career, worked as a reporter for the Milwaukee Journal. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
At the White House today, the president signed an executive order that directs Secretary of State Linda McMahon to take all steps allowed by law to shrink the Education Department. It's already saw about half of its staff laid off earlier this month. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump signed an executive order Thursday that he says begins the process of eliminating the Department of Education, saying states should have more control. The department does not administer curriculum or create lessons for the nation's students. That comes from states and local school districts. The president insisted critical functions of the Department of Education will continue, but he said they'll be redistributed to other agencies and departments.
Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved, fully preserved.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
The president did admit he will need congressional approval to cut the federal agency.
A federal judge has blocked Elon Musk's Doge team from accessing personal information from the Social Security Administration. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has been going into federal agencies, accessing information and purging federal employees. President Trump has long said he would not touch Social Security or Medicare, but Elon Musk's recent comments about Social Security have raised concerns about possible damage to the social safety net. The judge's order blocking DOGE's access to the agency's personal information gives Social Security recipients and employees a sigh of relief, even if it's just temporary. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
The Golden Eagles fly high to their next highly anticipated matchup.
The Marquette men are in Cleveland for the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Fans are not the only ones excited. Marquette's Ben Gold.
We know that we have
all the support from the fans, the community, and we're excited to go out there and play.
Head coach Shaka Smart tells WTMJ his message to the Marquette fans.
We have a lot of loyal fans that have been, with us if it's an open scrimmage in August in the Al. So just grateful for everybody that's here, that supports us, and we're going to go after making you proud.
The Golden Eagles will take on New Mexico on Friday night at 6:25. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks looking for a win in their Western Coast road trip. Tonight they face the Lakers. Coverage at 9 o'clock here on WTMJ. And the Badgers beat the Grizzlies 85-66 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Badger Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. Tournament updates are brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:36.
Finally home. God, what's wrong?
I'm tired of this old, beaten down, ugly garage door.
All right, it's not that bad.
Really? It's so old.
Yeah?
And it breaks all the time.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
It's dirty. It's loud. It doesn't even close.
Give your old garage door new life. Get a new garage door from Lifetime Door Company. Register to win a free door plus free installation at WTMJ.com.
It doesn't even close, and the track is dented.
Okay, you've made your point.
Look at the windows. They're busted.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Chief Meteorologist Brian Niznansky is with us. Are you rustling some papers over there, Niz? What do you got going on?
Look at that done, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's hard work in here in the Weather Center. You know what I mean? We're crumbling up yesterday's crummy day, and we're making way for some sunshine today.
Oh, I like the way you put that. Hey, today's the first day of spring.
Officially, yeah, we're winter is in the books. First day of spring, and unfortunately, the forecast does not look like it's what most people would want on the 7-day forecast as we head into spring. A lot of 30s, a lot of 40s, a lot of days where we're dealing with slop. Pretty much what we've been dealing with the last couple weeks.
Not surprising, though. I mean, typical, right?
No.
I mean, a week in March can be like this.
Absolutely. And then we get into April, and like the entire country is starting to warm up, except for us because we're next to our cold as ice lake. But yeah, no, I mean, it's what we know. And we will get a few days that are excellent, and then we get kicked back to reality. But yeah, there's a lot more days that just are kind of on the crummier side than the good side here moving forward.
It's all right. By August, it'll be warm.
Yeah. And then we can start getting the kids back to school, planning for Halloween.
Someone was just texting to you from the 262 on our Setting Unlimited Talk and Text line that all of the temperature changes causes some arthritis to be aggravated for Peter.
I believe that. I mean, temperature changes and pressure changes for sure. And we have had like one after another of these like big, deep areas of low pressure that move pretty much right across the Great Lakes, and that brings a pressure gradient, that brings the pressure changes that can again have a big effect on people who deal with arthritis and other issues with their joints.
So then Peter's asking, how long will the cool stormy pattern linger?
It's foreseeable future, totally. I mean, we see round after round of these storms hitting the West Coast. They work across the Northern Rockies, and looks like we get a weaker one tomorrow evening, and then again on Sunday, and then potentially again middle of next week. So pretty much almost every 3 days or so, we're dealing with a stronger system. This last one, I don't know if you noticed, this last one brought in, did you notice, well, you didn't get much snow on the south side, but north of Milwaukee, places got some snow, and it was very dirty snow. It left like this film on people's cars and stuff.
Gross. How does that happen?
It's actually from dust and sand from those big windstorm and dust storms across Oklahoma and Texas. It worked its way up in the higher elevations of the atmosphere and gave us like an orange film on our cars where we had the snow.
All right, this is people want to talk to you today. There's a couple more texts for you.
Okay,
hey, Niz,
what's
give
up?
us a reason for all the wind lately, please. What's going on with the wind pattern?
Same thing again. The same thing of pressure changes. So pressure gradient, where you have a change in wind when you're caught in between high pressure and low pressure. The tighter that pressure gradient is, the more of a change there is. That's what creates wind. That's physically what creates wind, and that's what we've been dealing with. But that's not too uncommon for this time of year. Fall and spring are our windiest times, and we're definitely in one right now.
Should I do one more?
Yeah, one more.
Okay, from the 847.
Bring it.
How much precipitation did we get yesterday in Milwaukee?
Milwaukee just had a trace of, I believe I saw a trace of snow, and then rain-wise, last check was about 0.4 of an inch officially at the airport.
Look at this guy.
We're Niz's secretary.
He's amazing.
Anything else you got for Niz? You let Julie and I know.
Yeah, no, bring it. Those were some easier ones. Sometimes they can get in curveball. Now, if you would have said how much rain did Milwaukee get on February 21st, then I would have had to.
Someone from Menominee Falls, John's Hood, says there's a coat of dirt from the recent snowfall.
Yeah. I got a lot of pictures of that, and a lot of people asking the question, what was up with that? So if you do still have snow on the ground, don't let your kids eat it. It's full of dirt and sand.
All right, one
Seriously.
more. We're really up against the clock. But
No.
Niz, are we done with snow for the year? That's the question from the 608.
Another easy one. No, we are not. In fact, Sunday, I think we have a chance of getting another round of some slop that some of us, especially north, could end up shoveling again.
All right.
No more text.
Can you do the 5-day forecast in like 30 seconds? What do you got?
I thought I was gonna get who I got in March Madness or something like that. But
tomorrow.
All right. Maybe. So for tonight, mainly clear skies, a low of 31. Tomorrow, a high of 54. Rain showers tomorrow night. Saturday, a high of 40. Lots of sunshine. Sunday, here comes that rain snow mix again, 43. And then Monday, a few snow showers, windy, and a high of 40 degrees. It's March in Wisconsin.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Brian Niznansky, questions and answers with Niz every Thursday on WTMJ. Niz, thanks so much.
A lot of fun, guys. See ya.
It's 5:42.
Your stress-free spring break trip starts in your driveway with Go Right Way, Wisconsin's largest chauffeured fleet. Start your vacation as soon as you leave your house by letting Go Right Way handle your rides to and from Mitchell Field or O'Hare. Luggage? Go Right Way has it. Traffic? Go Right Way handles it. Parking hassles? You won't miss them. Go Right Way's professional, on-time chauffeurs are background checked and their vehicles are premium and meticulously cleaned. Your journey starts with a ride you can trust. Book your ride today at GoRightWay.com.
John Burke here for Griffin Hub in Milwaukee. Check this special out at Griffin's Hub. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires. Free tire repair, lifetime tire rotation cannot be combined with any other tire offers. Tires must be mounted, balanced, and installed at Griffin. See Service Advisor for details. It's Griffin's Hub. They have a lot going on at the Hub. They've got a lot of great deals going on right now on the lot. They've got 200 new cars on the ground ready to roll, from the practical Pacifica and the iconic Wrangler to the luxurious Grand Wagoneer. They've got that, and the powerhouse Ram truck. The Jeep Wagoneer S has arrived. Experience electric experience with Wagoneer Luxury. It's Griffin's Hub. They'll even take your trade-in. It's hassle-free, no cost appraisal. You don't need to buy anything from them. You just come in, and they'll take your vehicle for you because they want more vehicles on the lot. It's the best service and the best selection. It's Griffin Hub right there in Milwaukee. Jim Griffin's team going to take great care of you. Check out Griffin Hub.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Just Between Friends, Milwaukee County. I'm so excited to share. I've saved thousands at this twice-a-year event, Just Between Friends, Milwaukee County. Everything from gently used infant through teen clothing to kids gear that you can think of. It's happening right now in a month from today. First look with pre-sale April 10th, and it runs through Friday, April 11th through Sunday, April 13th at Wisconsin State Fair Park's Expo Center. Head to milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com to learn more. Up to 90% off the retail price. That's milwaukeecounty.jbfsale.com.
If you missed this,
Can you talk about how often officers are ending up at schools and how difficult those situations are?
3,100 calls a school year. It was about 17 calls a day.
or this,
Handpicking the press pool. What are your thoughts on that?
I have many, as you might imagine. I've been in the press pool covering the White House, the greatest privilege of my repertorial life.
Catch up on the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast at WTMJ.com, presented by Dave Drakamp Heating.
Let's get you where you need to safely with Debbie Lazaga. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Hey, Julia. Yeah, we've got some delays basically along northbound 43 going up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. Southbound's getting a little bit better. We are seeing some delays, though, basically right through the Marquette interchange. On the ramp from Hawley Road to 94 westbound, looks like we may have some debris in the roadway, so careful with that on the ramp, I should say. The freeway is actually looking pretty good. Just a little bit of a backup through the stadium interchange. The eastbound side's a little bit tight as well. From Mitchell Boulevard to 35th Street. Still dealing with that crash on 41 southbound at Silver Spring off on the right shoulder, but folks are getting past that without too much of a problem as well. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
We've been talking about how 80,000 pages have been released connected to the JFK assassination. And you know who's been looking through those 80,000 pages is Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst, former FBI agent. Brad, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's just start right here. All these have been released. Are we any closer to knowing definitively who killed President Kennedy in Dallas in 1963?
Other than Lee Harvey Oswald, the answer is no. I don't think, now, obviously, I haven't read 80,000 pages, but the experts on this assassination kind of consistently have said that they don't see any smoking guns. I don't see any smoking guns. I would say, John, there is clarity of some aspects of this investigation. For example, and this, what I'm about to say, has been known for several years, but the CIA were tracking Lee Harvey Oswald. He got out of the Marine Corps in 1959, had a rough time there, was court-martialed twice, was in jail, and he immediately moves to Russia after he gets off active duty. Now, you would ask yourself, why would you track him if you did that? Well, think in context of when that happened. Into the 50s, early 60s, the Cold War is going on, a lot of issues with Russia, and I don't think Americans were picking up every day and moving to Russia. So that might be why they were tracking him. But they apparently were surveilling him at times and monitoring his communications, activities, where he worked, all of that, from 59 through the assassination. And then, obviously, Lee Harvey Oswald only lived 2 more days and was killed by Jack Ruby on the 24th of November. So what's intriguing about the CIA part of this is that they have pretty much kept that under wraps. That I don't think back in the day that anybody knew about that but the CIA. There's no mention of it in the Warren report. The Warren report, concluded that, Oswald acted alone. And even if he did know, does it really have anything to do with the assassination? It may not. It certainly could potentially be embarrassing to, I suppose, the CIA if, in fact, they were keeping track of him. But it certainly won't help the conspiracy theory folks. So, there's some other aspects we can talk to, but that's one that jumps out.
Why is it still a mystery as to why the CIA's counterintelligence chief was so interested in Oswald?
It's a good question. And it seems like to me, if the straightforward answer is that they were concerned about him becoming, going to Russia, becoming a communist, and then helping the Russians, since he obviously just left the military. I'm just guessing. Maybe there was something else, but it's something that should have been brought out at some point. And what you just asked me is still not out there. If you look at the documents that have been released, it certainly touches on what I just talked about. It touches on James Angleton. That's who you're referring to as the CIA counterintelligence chief. But it doesn't really help us as to the question you just asked. It's another one of those dangling aspects of this case, just like a few weeks before the assassination, Oswald went to Mexico City, which I think the CIA monitored. And he went to the Russian embassy. He went to the Cuban consulate. And the question is, what in the world was he doing? What is that all about? Now, the conspiracy theorists also probably want to make something of that. I don't know if it means anything or not in reference to the assassination, but it's certainly suspicious, if nothing else.
So he went to Russia and Cuban consulates or in Mexico City. How long before the actual assassination?
Just weeks.
Then that seems to be pretty linked.
Well, you would think, but he's married to a Russian. He had 2 kids. She came back with him. The other, I suppose, odd thing is that he moved to Dallas. Obviously that's where the assassination occurred. So no one has talked about, was that planned? Did he move there intentionally? Who knows? But there's all of these sort of aspects of this case that, from my vantage point, aren't any further down the road. In other words, the conspiracy theorists can still run with a lot of this. But the bottom line for me is I still don't see anything beyond Lee Harvey Oswald. And if I profile him, he certainly fits the profile of somebody who had done this. He's a troubled guy, gotten arguments and fights, couldn't work, didn't have friends, and really wanted to seek attention. And, that's really where most mass shooters come from. They want to be famous. They want fame. And of course, he certainly got it.
Hey,
But,
Brad, I want to clarify what you just said, because you're an expert, former FBI agent. You've looked at this sort of thing over and over and over successfully through your career. Do you believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone?
I think so. I mean, I'm a person that you can convince me of anything if you have the evidence to support it. I just don't see anything else. Can we belabor the CIA connection or interest in him? We can't. Could the KGB have something to do with it, with that going into the Russian embassy? I think the KGB, I assume, tracked him when he was in Russia for the better part of 3 years.
Does it unravel the motive?
We don't know the motive. All I can tell you is that Oswald was a guy who tried to latch onto things and then rejected them a short time later, like communism. In the few interviews that they had with him before he was killed, he denied that he committed the shooting. Now, it's pretty clear he bought 2 weapons using an alias. The alias was on a selective service card that was on his person when he was arrested. The long gun that he shot the president with was purchased with that alias, and so was the handgun that you might recall. He also killed a Dallas police officer. And it's pretty clear that it's just him in the shooting. Could you argue, I suppose, that somebody sent him to do that? Maybe. But there's no evidence to support that.
So all the cited grassy knoll conspiracy therapists who think there was another person there, you don't find any evidence of that?
No, and John, there has been an argument, you might recall, that due to the way, I don't want to get too graphic here, the president was originally shot in the neck, the second shot was in the head, that the way his body moved, there's an argument by some people that it had to be a second shooter. They've had ballistics people look at this, and I think they sort of discount that theory. They believe it's still one shooter, one weapon. So, people will argue that they don't agree with me on that, and that's fine. But the facts take you right to Oswald, in my view.
Hey, one more quick question. We've only got a few seconds. The thing that bothered me in the report was people's Social Security numbers were released. They were redacted.
Are they
People
dead?
who are still alive.
Oh, they're still alive. Okay.
Is that just careless?
Now, well, here's the problem with that, and I have total empathy for the Department of Justice. Trump gave them no time to go through 80,000 pages. I mean, like hours to go through 80,000 pages, and you know that none of that's computerized, right? It's all like messages and memos, and back then they would send wires,
microfiche, and
all that stuff. I mean, it would they should have had weeks. So because of that rush, you had this issue that you just mentioned about Social Security, and that was, I think, people that were on the Church Committee, which investigated the CIA for misdoings in the 60s and the 70s. That got released too for some reason.
Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst in Washington. Great conversation, Brad. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care, John.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition rolls out a program aimed at helping small and medium-sized companies